There it is, champ. I see you. There he is. There's the famous guy himself. There he is. That's a beautiful painting you got there.
That's okay. It's the MIGHTYcast. We out here. We strong.
Dog, you've been busy. You got dirty boxing. You got bare knuckle fighting. And you also got the platinum tequila, right? You're all over the place. All over the damn place. How are you able to juggle all this shit? And you're back on bare knuckle fighting. You're about to get a fight going. How do you have time to do all this?
Man, the tequila helps a little bit. Did you see the energy it gave me at the press conference, man? I was getting rowdy out there.
And sink it all the way, baby. That's it.
And you're all fucking welcome that I fucking did it. I fucking blew this shit up and I fucking made it pop.
The tequila energy helps a little bit. I don't know, maybe a little nicotine here and there. Bucked up energy drinks, you know. Those things help me out sometimes. And coffee, love my coffee. And you know, I guess it's the itch that you get after not fighting for a while. You know what I'm talking about. You're gonna be competing again soon. So it's that I want to get back on the mats and get to work, and you know, simple as that.
Okay. Well, boys, welcome back to another episode.
I know this is gonna be killing people. So, Mike, do you mind spitting out your gum?
Mm.
I know it's gonna drive people nuts. So I said it.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
It's just medicated gum.
I apologize. My man's got you putting the mic to your face, having you get up.
That's okay. I was chewing the shit out of it because it's giving me something. So that's fine. I probably needed to get rid of it.
Well, boys, welcome back to another episode on the MIGHTYcast. And we are joined by the one and only platinum Mike Perry. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got the dirty boxing. He's got bare knuckle fighting. And he's also got the platinum tequila. Mike, thank you for taking time out of your day to come on the show. It's good to have you again. Let's start with dirty boxing, okay?
Yeah.
Obviously, dirty boxing is pretty much your baby. Talk to me about you going down that path of becoming essentially a CEO. I never forget when you had the very first press conference, you were basically displaying to everybody, showing everybody, okay, here's the type of gloves we're going to use. Here's our rule sets. Okay. Walk me through that whole logistics and trying to get it, I guess you say, legalized in the state of Florida, because that's the only state that you guys are able to do events, correct?
I guess so. I'm actually pretty sure we've been working on other locations, but what's a better location than Miami, Florida? Definitely a fun vacation spot for anybody who wants to come to the events. August 29th is our next event. We're going to have our first title fight in dirty boxing, and it'll be a heavyweight title versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Rob the Wolf Perez. Rob has been quite the company man, I must say. And I mean that in a very positive way. Like, he is just so violent, and you know, he talks a good game, and he knows he's in for some big fights, especially against Jairzinho. And he's ready for it, man. The guy's really grown on me, and obviously Jairzinho is great as well. So I'm really looking forward to them fighting. The rest of the card will be stacked up. We've done great. Our matchmakers have done a great job with the 2 cards we've had, plus the private show we did. So we've had 3, but only 2 have been counted as, you know, DBX1, DBX2. This will be DBX3 in August 29th, and at the Hangar in Coconut Grove in Miami, Florida. So, you know, very excited. You know, I do got a couple of babies, and it's like dirty boxing is like my son, and platinum tequila is like my daughter. You know, it's got the little pink and baby blue, and you know, I got a lot of love for these things. I definitely love my tequila, and I love some good fights. When it come down to how we did dirty boxing, there were some meetings. You know, we're always having company meetings, and if not Google calls, and you know, just running through what everyone's looking for. And there were people on the team that were like, oh, maybe we should try first round is boxing, second round is kickboxing, and third round is jiu-jitsu. And we all looked at that guy like,
fired.
Huh? Oh yeah, you're out of here, buddy. So I came up with Ice Bags with the rule set, because me and Ice Bags are both fans of boxing, which boxing is making, it's not like it ever left, but it's kind of making a comeback. And, you know, considering I fight for bare knuckle is a very exciting style of fighting because of the damage that gets thrown around. Boxing can cause a lot of trauma to the head and brain. You know, these guys train all day to stand in the pocket, or, you know, they are very skillful. They use their footwork. They get a lot of road work, miles in, and things like that. But, you know, so we put gloves on people because a lot of high caliber athletes did not want to see themselves going towards bare knuckle. I took it and ran with it. I thought it was good for me. But, you know, in dirty boxing, I said, I think we should have gloves. I don't think it should be bare knuckle. I think that will open our doors to some big names in the mixed martial arts. And sure enough, it has. We've had some great athletes on the cards, you know, with Andrei Arlovsky, who has made his way to bare knuckle now. We've had Yoel Romero a couple of times at main event, Jairzinho, and you know, our last card had 8 former UFC fighters on it. So we've gotten the level of talent that we've wanted, and they all, the way I saw it, it was like, that's how mixed martial artists train. Yeah. We go to the gym, and if we're not wearing our 16-ounce gloves and we are doing MMA rounds, sometimes we do MMA rounds with 16-ounce gloves, but sometimes we do them with the 4 to 6 ounce gloves, the training style pad, and we practice our hand game, and, you know, probably some kicking. But the way I saw the kicking was that it's more used to slow the action. You still getting some head kick action in the UFC these days. Some people are still getting dropped with those head kicks, but most of the time the kicking is to create range and distance and stall some of the very fast-paced fighting that you get with just all hands and upper body striking. So with the upper body striking, we got, you know, we're allowed to do Superman punches. In boxing, you're not allowed to, you know, your feet aren't allowed to leave the ground. Spinning back fists. In boxing, you're not allowed to spin or turn your back to your opponent. In this game, if you do turn your back, you can throw a mean strike that some people don't see coming. So, and then, you know, if we also have elbows, which really takes us over as the only combat sport of our style. We're in our own lane with boxing with elbows, and if you knock your opponent down, you can ground and pound for the finish, as long as the ground and pound is active and you are, you know, persistently trying to land strikes to your opponent without going to the ground. No knee on belly, no mount, no grounded positions. So it's all standing, striking, you know, aiming for the head or body. And that's what we wanted. All action at all times, kind of phone booth in a small ring, and give these guys just a little bit of room to set up their strikes.
Now you said when you go to the ground and pound, if I'm pounding somebody out, I have to stay on my feet. So I can't go knee on the mat, knee on belly. I can't mount. Now, when I do that, can the guy who's getting grounded, who's getting pounded, can he get his guard back, or can he wrestle up? Like, how does that work? Because I feel like if I get dropped, somebody starts raining down punches. Am I able to wrestle up? Am I able to get a guard and try to stop and get my feet in there? Like, how does that work? Or once I get a guard, it's like, up, stop, break, up, back to your feet.
Right. I think that's been an issue for some athletes. I think some who understand combat sports and the fact that, it's protect yourself at all times. And that doesn't just mean covering your head.
Yep.
That means doing what you need to get the fight back on its feet, or get yourself back on your feet to continue the boxing. And if you want to throw some De La Riva, if you want to grab an ankle, if you want to try to trip the guy's feet up, if you want to, roll over and grab and like go for a takedown in order to reset the combat, that is definitely allowed. Up kicks are a very iffy area because we wear shoes, so you can't throw an up kick to the face.
Yep.
But if you're beating my ass and I'm probably gonna kick you in your face. Like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get back to my feet. So, don't listen to me exactly on that one. That's just me talking some shit. So don't start throwing up kicks, guys, because the referees and the commission might disqualify your ass.
Yeah.
But if you want to push off of their body, almost like a kick to the stomach or something like that, or try that De La Riva guard, or work your wrestling to get back to your feet, or even try to take them down for a short just a short recess, that they will stand you back up and the boxing will continue. So, just whatever you got to do to get back up within the means of the rules. And the rules, are very violent anyways.
Yeah.
So we're all about, protecting the athletes. And, that's a beauty about punching with the small gloves, against bare knuckle. You're not getting cut like that.
Yep.
And you are still getting quite the impact, but not as heavy as a big glove. And, maybe you can't take the punches as well because it's a smaller glove. So the concussions and head trauma is a little bit less, for sure.
And then you said something too that caught my eye, the commission. What was it like trying to get these rule sets and, the whole thing approved by the commission?
Well, the commission and the referees, I'm not exactly sure if they're one and the same, but, we all work for the commission, and they're fans. They love, giving athletes a chance to compete and better their lives and make some money putting on entertainment. And, luckily, I think a lot of the Florida State Athletic Commission loves me, and, we're all fans of Johnny Bones, and, he's our newest partner. And, we just love a very entertaining, action-packed style of fighting. So we've had a couple meetings with referees about making adjustments through, we had DBX 1 and 2, and we've made some small adjustments. And I thought the referees did a great job in DBX 2 in allowing the action to take place a little bit. They did have to, take some things. There was one fight that maybe set up for a rematch because there was an eye poke, and then there was a devastating elbow landed, which caused a lot of damage on the eye. Either it was the eye that may have been poked, and then there was some clinching going on where a hand kind of went across the face. So then the fight got called as a disqualification. The guy, but pretty much you can see on the footage that a lot of the damage was from an elbow that landed. But the guy with the bad eye, he ended up winning. So they've been in talks about resetting that fight and that matchup up again. And, I don't know if that's taking place August 29th. All we got right now is our main event. And then I'm sure the card is stacking up.
And you're like a full blown promoter. That is your baby. That is your baby, because it's a lot. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, how does he do with the pay? How is he finding the new fighters? Are you always looking for people? But I'm sure you have guys out there, your matchmaker who's looking for different athletes to get on DBX. And I remember when you guys came with the first DBX1 and DBX2. Now you said DBX3, it was not 3, it was a private event. Why did you go to a private event and the first two were open to the public?
So no. So the first one was a private event.
I thought the last one you did was private.
The first one. And so we didn't call it DBX1. It was a private, a trial show.
Gotcha.
And we got big hits on that. Everyone loved it. There was lots of impressions on social media. So then we released it, DBX1, and then DBX2. I can't remember dates for the life of me. If I didn't fight, when I fight, I remember the dates. Surprisingly enough, when I'm not taking hits, And I'm commentating here at DBX. I've been a commentator for the first two real shows that we had. So DBX3 is open to the public. We got about 1,200 seats. We've sold a bit already since announcing, maybe yesterday or the day before we announced. So people are looking forward to DBX3. It's always a good time. We always have a party when we're down there. Some really good food out in Miami. I went to Steak Poppy last time. That was fun. And, they bring your steak out in a case, in a briefcase, and then it's gold, and then they sizzle it. And they open it. Yeah, and they did. Oh, you've been there.
I've been there before. Yeah. They're doing their little dance and shit. Yeah, it's a great time.
Good times. There's lots of great places like that down there. So Miami is quite the live city, and it's a great place to go put on an entertaining fights and then, celebrate with all the team that was a part of it.
I love it. And then if you can't make it to Miami, what do you guys like? How can you watch it? Is it on YouTube? Yep. Is it on Kick? What do you guys stream it on?
Yes, we are on YouTube for free, and we do stream on other platforms as well. Like, I think in less than 48 hours, our last at DBX2 on Twitter had 8 million views.
Wow.
So a lot of Twitter watchers were watching. Boxing just killed pay-per-view.
Yeah. Crazy.
So lots of comments there about Dana White. It's like, whoa, what the hell? And Dana White's involved in that boxing match. So, with Turkey, Alashiki, and so they're making big changes. A lot of stuff gets stolen anyways. The pay-per-view has been dead for quite some time. A lot of people know how to use their internet and computers now. So we're all trying to find that new way. And we're just giving this stuff away right now on YouTube. I think it is on Kick as well. So wherever you like to watch, I would like for everyone to tune into YouTube because it's free and we'll rack up our views on YouTube. That's what I want to see and do. Obviously, we had the 8 million views on Twitter, and you got these softwares that you can use to put all your platforms together on one page, and it shows you the growth in your categories. And, we have had bits of growth over 150,000 each DBX. So, we went from like 10 million to 10.5. And I think last time we had like 11 to 11.5 million across all platforms. So, I'm still learning a lot about the business, and but I've always been a promoter. I've always promoted myself and my fights. I got people to tune in, and it's not just because when I did fight, they knew what they were in for. Like, I go for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I love that you're doing it, because I feel like you guys found a niche for the public, because there's a lot of people who watch mixed martial arts who don't really like watching, the ground game. They want to see just all stand up and banging. They like the elbows. They like the Superman punch, right? When it comes to kicking, I think kicking can be used in a way to where you can use it, blow out somebody's liver, break their arm, high kicking, push kicking to set some up. But obviously, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're watching when you see people kicking, right? Like I always tell people, Southpaw versus Orthodox, free kicks all day, no receipt attached to the purchase when you try to buy that liver. But I felt you guys found a niche where it's like, hey, we're just going to do stand-up. If you drop them, you can ground and pound, get back up, and keep the action going. And the numbers speak for themselves. You guys are killing it. So shout out to you. And I think you're still learning, but I think you're so passionate about it that's why I think people get behind it. Because obviously, when you fight, we all love to see you fight, but now to see you kind of take your passion somewhere else and put it into DBX, I love to hear that it's being successful and a growth. And DBX3 in Miami, you said it was August 29th?
Yes, sir. I love getting to sit ringside right there. As a fighter, I've always been brought to events, and you're still a little ways back, even when they're sitting you on the floor, or you're not behind the commissions tables, So now I am at one of the tables sitting right there. My table's right there at the ringside, and I can get a little bit of blood on me if the action gets real crazy. The fighters just, they see me, they start yelling at me. It's very entertaining to sit really ringside and just see all the action. No one's walking in front of you. You can just see every strike landed, and then, let the people know what you're looking at.
Yeah. Why a ring instead of a cage?
Well, it's boxing.
Okay.
And, the cage is surely interesting for some things. It's quite, I'd have to say, looking through a cage, there's nowhere you can look through the cage and not see something kind of in your view. Like if you were looking at me like this.
Yeah.
But through the ring, and we have very small ropes. Our ropes are like this thick. So if you get trying to rope a dope, you're going to get your back hurt on the ropes. And, it's very easy to see through, especially over the top half of the ropes where you're getting a lot of your upper body striking. You can see clearly what these guys are going for. So, it's just, we're big boxing enthusiasts, and it's one of the older combat sports. It's been around for over 100 years, and I've always been a fan of, lots of styles. Like Roy Jones Jr. lives close to our partner and owner, Ice Bags, and they're friends, and they live up there in Pensacola, Destin area. And, so I've gotten to hang out with Roy Jones and him a couple times, and Roy Jones is a legend, and I've always been a striker, always been a big puncher, whether it be small gloves, or, haven't gotten my shot to really show my skills with the big gloves. I'm 0-2 as a pro boxer, but ain't no 0-2 pro boxer ever gotten paid what I got paid. So, I'll just keep fighting for the money because I bring it. I can take some damage. I'm very durable. And, I give the people something to look at, whether it was in a cage or it's in a ring. Boxing rings just make sense.
Yeah. Okay. I was always curious about that. Let's switch gears. Bare knuckle fighting. That's where I felt, if there was no Mike Perry, I felt like bare knuckle fighting would not be what it is today. Right. I mean, I remember you were talking about that, off record, where you were like, dude, you felt kind of slighted that, Conor McGregor comes in there and now he's kind of the face of it. They kind of give him some equity or whatever it is. And they kind of like push you away. There's a little beef drama on the internet where he fired you and you almost did your own thing with DBX. I felt like there was like a little rift confrontation there. And we didn't ever think you would be fighting in bare knuckle fighting, but they just announced this 25 million tournament. Talk to me about you basically amending, or was there amending the relationship with, I believe his name is Paul Felder, or am I getting that wrong? What's the gentleman's name? The owner?
David Feldman.
Damn it. I'm all thinking about Paul Feldman,
David.
the fucking David Feldman.
Yeah.
I don't know if your guys' relationship was broken or anything like that. Talk to me about that transition you going back to bare knuckle fighting, even though you started DBX, the Conor. Talk to me about that and the $25 million tournament.
Well, David Feldman is, he's great. He's a great promoter. He's brought bare knuckle fighting up so much, and any opportunities that I've had to compete in bare knuckle, he brought to my doorstep, and I accepted those things out of bravery and courage and understanding that, I'm tough and I can throw and I like to box, and it's quite invigorating punching a professional athlete bare knuckle with no gloves, like you're setting up for the street fights, and gives you hard, fast-paced action. You toe the line, you got a 2-minute round, so the pace, if guys are practicing slick boxing and moving and I'm just walking you down the whole time trying to land my knuckles on any part of your face to create damage, to open up a cut, to land a blow that just hits your insides because it's bone on bone, and it really that's why I have been so successful. I know what I'm in for. I've always been really good at rolling with the punches, even if they hit me flat out clear as day. I'm lucky, man. I'm blessed by God to take punches. I have a hard head, big, strong, square head, and it works for me. So, there was really no beef there. It was just I had a setback. I had the opportunity to fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul brought me up to a larger size weight class where 185 was still kind of large for me. And I went to 200, and, Jake had been training with a multi-million-dollar team for the last 5 years in strictly boxing. And I had been doing bare knuckle, 2-minute rounds, very fast pace. You can cause a lot of damage without gloves on your hands. And then I put the gloves on and I was a little bit out of my comfort zone. Tried to get myself in it on 3 weeks notice. And, I tried to go up in weight. I seen some things that I feel like I would honestly do differently if I had to put the big gloves back on. I wouldn't try to go up in size. I would stay sharp and hard and fit, do a little bit of lifting, but more so just strictly boxing. And, I fought a boxer, a 27-3 boxer back in Triller Triad Combat before I went to bare knuckle. And when I fought him, I was able to use a lot of dirty boxing rules. No spinning back fists, no elbows, but I was able to grab him and use MMA striking techniques that I have used my entire life in getting into the UFC. So, it was real team MMA versus team boxing, and with a little bit smaller gloves. So I was able to surprise him with some of the grabbing and holding and pushing and pulling that you can't do in boxing. There is no grabbing, turning, pushing, pulling, and holding in boxing. If they hold, they'll warn you, they'll separate you, and the boxing continues. But in Triad, I was able to really get a hold of my opponent, put my weight and pressure on him, which is what we do in MMA. We put people on the cage and we make them carry our weight.
Mm-hmm.
That took its toll on him, and I was able to get the win that night. And then, you know, I've just been successful in bare knuckle where I'm able to land these clean boxing punches with no glove, no protection. And, you know, after my first one, David Feldman told me these guys squeeze their fists so hard. And so that way, when you make that impact, you know, because for the longest time, I boxed like this.
Yeah.
And then when I throw the punch, I try to close the fist. And that destroyed my hands in the first fight. And so then from there, I just took that and just squeezed my fists at all times in training. And so I'm already squeezing before I land a strike. But, you know, Conor he come in, I kind of, you know, Feldman brought him out to the fight versus me and Rockhold.
Yep, I was
think
there.
I saw you out there.
I was there, yep.
You were there. And, you know, Luke's a big guy. He's going to fight Darren Till now. Darren Till's getting my scraps, I guess. But Luke Rockhold wanted gloves. He wanted gloves. So he's going to try the boxing again. Maybe we'll see something good out of him, but I don't know. I think Darren Till's been pretty good in his boxing. He's 2-0 over there in Misfits, and they got to be fighting for scraps is what they're fighting for. So, you know, I know Bare Knuckle tried to offer Darren something large. Maybe he had some problems with Misfits getting to that opportunity. I think it's still something that all sides are working on making happen at some point. And I don't know on which side it will happen on. I'm pretty sure I want to do it bare knuckle, but you know, Conor come in after that Luke Rockhold fight. I brought him in the ring. I guess Chael Sonnen said Cowboy Cerrone was mad because he was there. Well, Denver was his town, but I thought, you know, Conor smashed Cowboy in a short amount of time.
Yep.
When I fought Cowboy, he was very smart about it, very protected himself at all times. He stayed out of range and he tried to use his kicks. I stuffed his takedowns. I took him down, and he knew from times that we have grappled a few times together before that fight, that he was going to be able to. Cowboy's jiu-jitsu is incredible.
Yeah.
And it really is. He's a little snake down there, a bull conda. I didn't say that right, but he's a new one. Yeah. He's a new type of snake. So call the real Tarzan and catch that fucking snake. So if I hit two birds, one stone that night, we didn't know that Conor was going to jump in, but I called him in the ring because it made sense. I was watching the stadium that night. They blew up when Conor entered the building. 20,000 people blew up. Whoa, it's crazy. He was big back then, I guess. And he's still big, but like, I guess he was bigger then. He was still fighting. And so he comes out and I made Cowboy all salty because I didn't call him in the ring because Conor's more of the microphone. Like he's going to make viral moments just on the mic and he can talk. And so I did that. He jumps into the show. He was supporting me against Jake. That's how it goes. And then, you know, he sets the bar where he supports you and then you don't fucking win. He's going to try to shut you down, but there is no me leaving the company because you said so. A lot of people in the company know, besides the guys who are there and wish they had some recognition or something for the work that they've put in. Good for you guys, but you didn't do it like I did it. I did it better than you. I am better than you, and I'll punch your small faces with my bare knuckles and you won't fucking like it. How about that? So bring it on, motherfuckers.
Okay, well, that was all over the fucking place. I wouldn't ask.
I still hit the points, though.
You hit all the points. But you brought something that you are a free agent. meaning that you're not locked into an exclusive contract, right? Right now, we have the Ali Act going on right now where a lot of fighters are trying to get that signed. That way, there's free market in mixed martial arts. Now, for you, you are a free agent because you can pretty much do whatever you want. You fought Jake Paul. You did bare knuckle fighting. If you wanted to, you could do DBX. Now, for you, where do you stand as a free agent? Do you think there should be exclusive contracts? You have been able to box, right? You have lived this free agency life where you are in a free market where a lot of guys like, let's take a guy like Ilia Topuria. He can't go around and shop and be able like, hey, you know what? DBX is going to offer me $20 million to fight. I can't do that because I'm locked in a UFC contract. Or, you know, John Jones, another example, he can't go fight Francis Ngannou because he's locked in that exclusivity. Where do you stand? You've been under both. You're a free agent. You've been able to do the free market, and you've also been under an exclusive contract. What is your feelings about this? Because there's some people, you know, right now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they have UFC BJJ. There's a lot of guys saying that could be bad for the sport because you're locking down great athletes like Maki Musumeci, the Tackett brothers. And then you have, you know, the guys who won championship like Ty and Cade Rotolo. They're on an exclusive contract, but they can compete at other organizations, just not the UFC. Where do you stand with the free agency and exclusivity?
Well, good question. You know, it's a good question.
You're like, well,
I believe in these contracts, from what I've seen, there's always loopholes when it comes to the money. And, you know, someone like Ilia Topuria could be bought if there was someone willing to put in multi-million dollars together. They would do business with the UFC in order to make these things possible. UFC is not against money. And, you know, if they want one of their prize objects, money talks. So, you know, I think that there is maneuverability there, but it's very slight and it has to be huge. Now, Ilia is someone that could get that hugeness, but I'm sure that the UFC is already building something very big for him, and it would be in his better interest to stay there. So, you know, that's the thing too. Where's the fighter's interests lie? Someone like Ilia, who is undefeated and has been dominant in the UFC, has gotten, you know, he's gotten his hand raised on all his matchups. Even if he's had tough times, he's come out on top. So, you know, I on the other hand, I've had some options currently. Right now, there's some shit out there that I'm like, whoa, why ain't we moving towards that? What's going on? Because I think things are, you know, definitely being taken care of on the bare knuckle side. And, you know, I should reap some benefits from that here shortly. But, you know, if I'm actually currently, I've just been announced that I would be fighting October 11th. They had me face off with someone who is the number one pound for pound in bare knuckle fighting, Dave Mundell, whom I've knocked out unconscious very badly 2 times in my life in MMA. Once as an amateur for free, poor bastard, and then once as a professional. I was 5-0, and he was 5-0, and I knocked him out so bad. And then I went to the UFC, and it's been, you know, a rocket ship ever since, because I never slowed down in my fighting. You know, I went into the UFC. I just fought. You know, Kevin Holland he's killing the game over there in the UFC. He's maybe on a track to fight 6 times this year, depending on how this weekend goes. And he's been very great He's very tough to deal with, super tall, fighting at 170. I didn't think he would do it with the power he had at 185, but he's been getting wins at 170. He makes the weight. And, usually guys that are long like that, they don't have the big smackaroo on the end of their punch the way that he does. So he's been able to really do great. And I was similar, is why I bring Kevin Holland up. I was fighting a lot. I kind of wanted to be a guy that fought so much in the year, but these fights break me down over time, broke my body down. The way that I fought MMA, I was taking hits a lot, like kicks to the legs and body, and I just never backed up and came forward. None of these guys hit hard enough to hurt my head. Jeff Neal did kick me in the head pretty good, but I ate that shit. And then, he hit me like 6 or 7 more times. And then, they said that I was ready to walk out. They were like, "Oh, it's over." I was like, "Bullshit! I just got here. What are you talking about? That wasn't me."
That's when you know.
That wasn't me.
That's when you know you're concussed.
They put me under a spell. It wasn't me. So either way, man. If you're a fighter and you want to get to the big time, you gotta just show up, put on the performance of your life, man. Bring hell with you. Bring it into the ring with you. When they lock that door, you gotta make these people feel the pain and sell it to the crowd. Here's that pain that I've been selling. Watch this shit and feed it to them. So that's what I tried to do, and I'm waiting to do it again in bare knuckle.
So, but then when it comes to the free, the free agency, you're a free agent. You go wherever you want, and you have the exclusivity. When you negotiated your contract with Jake Paul for boxing, right, and then you do the bare knuckle fighting, a lot of people don't get that opportunity to do things like that, right? So for you, do you like the free agency? Like all the guys you guys signed to DBX, do you lock them down with exclusivity, or do you like to keep it a free market where it's like you go wherever you want and fight? What's your stance on that? Because you've been able to do both. You've been in the UFC on an exclusive contract. You get your 8-8, your 10-10, 20-20, whatever it fucking may be, right? But you're also now a free agent because you could fight Jake Paul. You did that. You also fought bare knuckle fighting. I'm sure if you wanted to fight in DBX, you could do that. Which one do you think should be across the board for everybody?
Well, I feel like these guys all know each other. All these promoters, they all know each other. They all talk on the phone. Hey, we have something we want to do with this guy, but if you guys have something coming in the next month or two, and then there wasn't anything ringing since the Jake Paul fight, to be honest with you. And now people are interested because someone wants to get me back in the ring. And, that made me wonder a lot, like, where the fuck is everybody at that wants to fight? Because since that time, and I'm training here and there, but I couldn't really get a contract because I have that exclusivity. Now when they're coming out, they're giving me a date. It's like I have these other options, but I just have to, punching someone bare knuckle is definitely intriguing. So I'm kind of open to that. My check is there with bare knuckle. I definitely want to fight that. I have 3 fights left with them. When we sign people to Dirty Boxing, we give them options, right? And any exclusive contract you've had with anyone has had options before you signed it. There was, okay, if you want one fight with us, we'll give you this amount of money to show and win, or strictly show up and get your check, whether you win or lose. And then also, but if you sign with us exclusive, if you're a DBX fighter, because we have signed a couple now, you get a little bit more here, whether it be show and win or just show purse, because we mix it up and we got both sides of the spectrum there, where boxing pays people just to fight.
Yep.
And they get if they get the win, they still get the same amount of money, or if they get the lose, if they didn't win, they still get the same amount of money. So those are options that we've had on contracts. And I think some of these fighters were like, you know what? Because another thing too is that we are competing. We are bringing you these shows every 2 months right now. It didn't start that way, but now with DBX1, DBX2 was about 2 months away from DBX1. DBX3 will be about a month and a half, 2 months away from DBX2. So, we're trying to pick up the amount of shows that we're doing because we are a new company. We are starting out and growing, and everyone is having a great time with it. So, and giving them on YouTube, there's lots of business that goes into the back rooms on the other end, and things are being dealt with, and we're getting endorsements and other companies involved. So, we've had a few fighters sign with Dirty Boxing exclusive, and if, like I said, those loopholes are probably there in all contracts, where if someone had an opportunity for some money, or actually most combat sports, most of them, probably 90%, give an out to the big show. Like if the UFC calls, you're free to go.
Gotcha. Okay. And what was when you did the Jake Paul fight, how was that negotiating? Because everybody says boxers make more money than MMA guys, right? What was your experience in negotiating with the Jake Paul fight?
Well, I probably got paid less than most of his opponents. It was a lot of like.
So you made more money you made more money doing bare knuckle fighting than you did doing a box fight against, because that was on the Zone, right? That wasn't on Netflix. That was on the Zone.
Right. Well, if you take at least a couple of my dirty boxings, yes, I have made more. Or excuse me, if you take a couple of my bare knuckles, yes, I have made more in bare knuckle fighting than I did against Jake Paul. But the Jake Paul fight singularity in itself, against any other single fight that I've had, Jake Paul paid me more.
Okay.
But that's only because I had that money on contract with bare knuckle, and we had incentive to say, this is what he's going to get. And if you want him to fight, in my bare knuckle contract, being a free agent, as you say, it just has to make sense for the company and for me in order for them to allow me to do it. And, in the short time or whatever, none of that mattered. All that mattered when it came down to it was the money, and that's really it. The time was there. They had the arena. I was like, oh damn, he wants 200 pounds. I can't ask for 185. There was no, I had no rights to, if I wanted to take the challenge, I could take the challenge, and that was it.
Got it. Okay. You always hear that stuff, and people are like, oh man, it's better to be a free agent. Oh, it's better to be on. Well, a lot of people don't like to be exclusive, but there's always a loophole, as you say. If there's enough money to be thrown at each other and a company, they can find their way out of it. So I always wanted to get your piece, because I feel like you're in a unique position where you fought for bare knuckle fighting, then you go do the Jake Paul fight, you come back to bare knuckle fighting, now you have DBX, and then now, are you in the $25 million tournament? Like your next fight with the gentleman you knocked out twice already? Is that part of the $25 million tournament, or is that something separate?
So October 11th is my date for bare knuckle, and the opponent has not been determined. Even though I had that face off, I was told it's not going to be him. But
well, you already beat him twice, so I don't think
there's lots of trickery in this game. They want to play with your mind and pull on your strings and mess with you all the time that they can, which is why I get in the ring the way that I do, which is why I get violent, and because that's what it's about at the end of the day. Is like, if you're going to try to showcase against me, all I know is that when we get in that ring and we toe the line, they say knuckle up, I'm going balls to the wall and trying to rip your face off. And that's what I know works. So, whether it's him or it's not, because Connor said it's going to be a former UFC standout, a legend of the sport of mixed martial arts, someone who is taking this opportunity against me, because bare knuckle definitely does pay for that opportunity to face me in bare knuckle. And, so I'm still kind of waiting to see who it's going to be, but I am training in the meantime. I've started my camp, which we are quite a ways out, over 80 days out, but I was at the track yesterday. I've been training every day, just building little by little. And I have this desire to, at my age of 33, I'll be 34 in September.
Damn, you're fucking
young. I want
young.
to see, that's what I hear. So I want to see, after all the life lessons I've had, how great I can be when I put it all together. It was nice after the Jake Paul fight. I got to dive in and spend a lot more time with family. And I really got to train on how to be a better dad, a better husband, a better man of the house. And, when you're constantly fighting, it's like sometimes the house might suffer a little bit from you. And, so to be able to dive into family life and real life, now going back into training, I can be excited about bettering myself as a man, as a father, as a husband, and as well as an athlete, and being the best I can be all around. So I want my house to grow and get better as I compete, and to see, the dominant force that I can be.
And I love that, because I feel a lot of people lose sight of that when they're in the middle of their career. They're just focused on fighting. That's why they say being a fighter is very selfish, because a lot of things have to be on the back burner in order to make you the best version of yourself. And I'm happy to hear that you had that time after the Jake Paul fight to spend with them, and then now it's almost like a reinvigorating for you to get back into training to be the best version of yourself, while still being the best father, husband with your family. Now, is that fight in October, is that part of the $25 million tournament, or is that something totally separate? Like, I don't know the whole structure of this $25 million tournament. I don't know if you're in it, or what weight class is it? Or is it just like they don't have that in fine print yet?
Sorry, you've had to ask me 3 times. Now, let me tell you about the $25 million tournament. It's just so far away.
Yeah.
The $25 million tournament is next year in 2026.
Okay.
It will begin, I guess.
Gotcha.
So, and, let me give you just a quick little idea of how that tournament could look. I could end up fighting Big Ben Rothwell.
Oh, wow. So it's open weight.
And I would toe that line. I would toe it. But I'm not totally sure of my chances. So if I beat a couple guys and then Big Ben beats a couple guys and then we facing off in the finals, 210 70 pounds, or he probably goes up. 265 is the heavyweight limit. Then he probably puts on 25 pounds because he's over 300. I don't know how he makes that weight cut, but he does it. And versus my 185, I'd be, so I think that they're trying to figure out some of the logistics there. That, John Dodson said he wants in, and they're like, well, you have to make at least like 150, I think. And he's like, okay, all right, I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, John. Could you imagine John Dodson versus Ben Rothwell?
Oh, dude, that would be fucking crazy. Crazy. So essentially there's no logistics put up with it. On paper now, it could be open weight tournament. It could be a certain amount of divisions. Because I think my producer said first place gets 15 million, and then there's second place and third place and all that stuff in the tournament. A prize payout. Okay, so yeah, that's right. So if I am facing Ben Rothwell and I decide to, I'll toe the line. I'll try to run away from him for a minute or two, and then maybe I'll take a knee, man, to get my second place prize or something. But there is. I'm being told it's supposed to be like 185 to 265, and then there's maybe another part of it that is for lower weight classes, so it would be 176 to below. So there's a lot of information still to come on that. Big Ben was very excited about that tournament. He's like, oh, you're telling me I'm going to fight for 15 million? I'm going to win that fucking money. And I was just sitting there like, I'm fighting October 11th. I'm not even thinking about fighting your big ass yet. And then he tried to fight me in the VIP room that night. Did you see that? I did not see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
We got 1 million views, man. He was chasing me around the VIP room. He was chasing me around. I had to punch him a couple times right in his face, bare knuckle, man. We were fighting. He tried to guillotine. He tried to rip out my Adam's apple, bro. And I was like, oh, you sick bastard. That's not in bare knuckle. What are you doing? So I kicked him. It was good. You got to go see that. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. Okay, let's switch gears. Now we got Platinum Tequila. Let's talk about the tequila, right? You see fighters, you got Aljo, he's got the Funk Harbor. Let's talk about tequila. What made you go down this route to start producing your own tequila?
I love tequila. I've always been a Patron drinker, Blanco, and then Clase came out, and I was drinking Clase as a repo. But I like the clarity of a Blanco tequila. I'm a Blanco white boy married to a Mexican woman, and I have Mexican children, and I went to where my wife's father or grandfather is from, in Guadalajara, out there in Jalisco, Tequila, Mexico. I was out there and saw the fields, and we made some movies, and we went into the heart of town into a bar and made some more movies over there, and those are on my page. Anybody wants to go see them. That wasn't a movie set. That was just a hood in Guadalajara, Mexico. And I was walking in the bar. People were looking at me crazy. They were like, what is this guy doing here? But once we all started drinking tequila, it just brought us all together. And we were just celebrating and having fun. And some of the best times of my life, man, are probably on tequila. I got the opportunity to make my own. We made the bottle pretty like my outfit from the day that I fought Thiago Alves in bare knuckle. That was a big moment for me. Thiago had been dominant in bare knuckle, 2-0 or 3-0 over there, and everyone knew his MMA career. He was a legend. We were gonna fight in mixed martial arts back in the day. That didn't happen. I got the win that night, and then I fought Thiago in bare knuckle, and no one had ever dismantled him the way that I did.
You did it in the first round. I felt like you hit him with the fucking jab, and it was like, that's all she wrote. It was like, bop, and then he was like, I think I'm good.
Little left hook, but you can call it a jab.
Well, I mean, shit, you kind of do shit like this here. It's like I like to call it heat seeking. You know what I mean? It was it was like one shot, and that was it.
Yeah. My technique, maybe it's not as good as the great Mighty Mouse, but that's why God gave me weight.
Exactly.
I'm not 265, but I'm 185. Mike Perry versus Mighty Mouse.
Nope.
You coming back?
Nope, I ain't coming back. I'm a gi boy. I play jiu-jitsu all day, every day. That's what I do. I'm not getting punched in the face anytime soon or never again. So there will not be no goddamn Mighty Mouse versus Mike Perry. So don't even try to make this a viral moment. God damn it.
Hey, your last win was incredible, though. Well, I believe it was your last one. It was when that one young guy, he got you over there and won. And then you came back a couple months later or so. And I love the breakdown of your video, how you jabbed him or kicked him. And then as he started falling back, it like pauses a couple times. You might have one of these recaps on your page and like you just walk. You do that MMA walk. You walk them down right to the edge as he falls into the cage. You land the craziest knee that I've ever seen. So that was just legendary.
I appreciate that, baby. Yeah, that was a good fight. Good trilogy fights with Adrian Moraes. He's a good guy. I have nothing but respect for him. And yeah, I don't think I'll ever fight again. It's just, I like doing this. I like talking to people. I like finding out, what's driving you. You got so much going on. The tequila, where can you get it? Like, is it out for sale now? Can you get it at Total Wine? Where can people try some of this platinum tequila?
So soon it will be in stores. We have sold quite a few bottles to distributors in the US, and but we are waiting. The bottles are being packaged right now or filled from Tequila Mexico, and they should be on their way to the States soon. It can be pre-purchased at tequilaplatinum.com. The website's really cool. Just go check it out, man. I've got a great team together with Tequila Platinum. Shout out Gabriel and Spirits. He's been doing an incredible job with the brand of tequila and everything involved. And so soon the bottles will be on their way and they will hit stores. But for now, it's been a pre-order, and soon those bottles will be shipped to consumers who have ordered them. The trucks have to get here from Mexico first. Those things had to go. The bottles came from China. Approvals came from Italy. The bottles had to be sent from China to Mexico. They had to get through the ports. They have arrived in Tequila, Mexico, and they will be filled. And then the trucks will leave Tequila, come through the border at the south border in America. And first stop, I think, might be San Diego. So we're starting filling up the West, and then I know mine will be ordered. I've ordered some, and then hopefully I get a couple free ones. You know what I mean? So I can start promoting.
I hope you can. It's your fucking tequila.
Yeah. Well, money talks, man. I'm cool with any of the bottles just making me money, but so I had to purchase some of my own to make sure. But I think I will get probably a couple crates or something, and we definitely have the most nostalgic bottle on the market. When you walk in somewhere and you see our bottle over there glowing, you're going to be like, what is that? And they're going to say it's Platinum Blanco Tequila. Would you like some? And you're going to say, absolutely. Let me try that right there, man. That's good stuff. It's 100% agave. I have some friends here in Central Florida, couple managers and owners of restaurants called Agave Azul. They're all about 100% agave, a couple Mexican restaurants. So they were like, we need this. We have to have it. So it'll be on their way to them shortly. And I'll be going to grab some food and a couple Blanco shots. I won't be driving. No drinking and driving, folks.
Smart man, smart man. I would hope, all the things you got going on, it's so much cheaper to take a fucking Uber than to get a DUI. So smart man. A lot of people can learn from you.
True.
A lot of people can learn from you.
Dude.
All right.
Hey, I'm trying to help some people out, man.
Yeah. Okay. Before we let you go, Michael, producer, what you got for my man Mike Perry? He's got a lot of stuff. He got DBX. He got Bear Dog Fighting. He got the tequila. What you got for him, Michael?
Hey, Mike. Always great to have you on the show. The first ever mighty fighter of the year. I think that was that 2023, DJ.
I think it was 2023. No, 2020. Yeah, it might be 2023. 2023, 2024. Yeah.
First. Just to remind everyone, the first ever fighter year that we've handed out, Mike Perry.
Yep.
But I got to ask about someone who's been in the news lately, Conor McGregor. He's been in the news for multiple things. We won't talk about one of those things.
Okay.
But
okay.
But the press conference, I thought it was interesting. What is it like just vibing off the energy he has, because he was kind of in your face.
You're welcome back, because I welcomed you back. October 11th is your date, and you'll dance for me, boy. You'll dance for the owner, and then we can talk. But your date is October 11th. Michael Perry, the return of Platinum.
We at first he fired you, but then you're back. So what is it like kind of just being around him, and both on the camera and off the camera? What is it like being around Conor McGregor?
A little bit confusing. A little confusing, I keep things a certain way, and the guy asked me, I actually didn't expect them to ask me the state of me and Conor McGregor. I didn't expect that. And I guess I'm stupid for not expecting that, but they did. And I said, hey, I want to fight you. And then he's like, well, you're going to dance for me. And it was confusing. And I got lots of people like, I wish you would have hit him. I wish you would have done this or that. And I'm like, okay, but what? Like, why are you guys such haters? Like, technically, because he said he fired me, I should hate him, and I should. He's kept the company afloat while I've gotten time with my family, and he is a great promoter. He speaks well. We haven't seen him in the ring in over 4 years or more, and my first thought as a pro fighter wasn't, I'm gonna hit this guy for being in my face and like telling me, oh, you're fighting October 11th. Like, he did a little bit kind of steal the spark of that announcement, because I called him out for a fight, and he had to protect himself, and was like, yeah, you'll dance for me October 11th. And I'm just like, all right, he's announcing my date. Like, yeah, I'm going to fight. And, we know I'm not fighting you. You're still owned by the UFC. You can't get out. They're holding on tight to you. You're promoting for us. People are like, you should have hit him. And I'm like, why?
Yeah. Like,
I'm a pro fighter. We toe the line and we start fair and square. And, someone hits me first or touches my face, I'm going to try to get towards them. And if I'm able to get through 5 security guards, then I will hit them. But that's part of the game, dealing with him. I didn't have any ill will or animosity. I think I was happy to be back. I was promoting my tequila. I was looking good up on stage. I was thinking about my wife in the audience, and definitely didn't want somebody to throw a dolly at her or something like that. Any beef between us is between you and me, and we can handle it like men. And he gave me a date, which meant that I had someone else that I was going to fight. And, if anything, like I said, he stole a little bit of that announcement. But that's one of the more viral moments, is him telling me my date, that I'm going to fight some killer.
Yeah.
And who's willing to fight me and step up to the plate. So, that's the difference. And he did his thing promoting, and I don't know. I was happy to be back. I didn't want to get sent home again for hitting some owner guy.
Yeah. No, hey, I love it. I'm happy that you're back in action. Obviously you got the DBX. DBX 3 is August 29th, and people can watch that on YouTube or either Kick, wherever you guys want to watch it. And then you can expect Mike Perry to get it back in the ring October 11th, back in bare knuckle fighting. They haven't announced his opponent yet, but hopefully they do that soon. And then maybe we can see you in the future in that $25 million tournament, you taking on Ben Rothwell. I mean, you got a lot of stuff on your plate, and along with the tequila, the Blanco tequila that's coming out, platinum tequila. I mean, Mike, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on the MIGHTYcast. The floor is yours. What can people expect from you? And tell me they can support you.
Thanks so much for having me, Mighty. You can expect a very vicious fight October 11th, no matter who it's against. Platinum Perry don't come to play. I come to fight as hard as I can. I put it all out there. I put it in training. Like, I literally hate training so much, and I'm so mad the whole time I'm training that I just train harder, because I think that it'll go faster, and it doesn't. And then it takes longer, and I'm pushed even harder, and I get in this incredible shape, and I'm always looking great and in shape. So, I look forward to fighting bare knuckle fighting October 11th. I look forward to the next Dirty Boxing event, August 29th, where our first title will be given out to the winner of the main event. And then, before that tournament in BKFC, I've been real animate about, damn, I go and I watch these Dirty Boxing shows, and I'm like, I can't wait to get in here. I'm gonna get in there at some point. You'll see Platinum Perry in Dirty Boxing. I can't wait to use that rule set and spark some people. It's been a while since I've used the Hellbow, and I've had some good ones. So thanks everybody for keeping up with me. If you're feeling thirsty, go to tequilaplatinum.com. Check out the cool website. Maybe copy a bottle, and they'll be on their way shortly. I know some people bought them months ago, and they're in my inbox like, Mike, where they at? And I'm like, come on, man. This stuff has traveled around the world. It will be to you soon. So please bear with me, and let's all remember to have some fun.
Boom. Well, there it goes.
I got one more for both you, because DJ, I don't know if you heard about this, but I guess Turki Al-Shia said that Jake Paul has accepted to box Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
Mike, what do you think about that? You obviously someone who boxed Jake Paul. Do you think he stands a chance against Anthony Joshua?
I saw that. Turkey is actually funny in that video where he's like, oh yeah, because worst case, is Anthony Joshua is just gonna kill him, and we'll all be like, okay. And then worst case is Jake does good, and Anthony Joshua must just be done. That's the way he said it. So that's actually really interesting. Obviously, Jake said yes already, but he said he's going to talk to Anthony next week.
Yep.
And I don't see why Anthony wouldn't say yes to that. So we'll see if that actually happens. That would be a pretty wild matchup. Jake's weight can really go up and down for sure, 40 pounds up and down. So, he must be on that good shit. He hates when people say that. I wouldn't mind seeing Anthony Joshua knock out Jake Paul. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It would be fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I think, Turkey, I think he has something. Maybe he has something against Jake Paul. Obviously he's a huge mismatch. Anthony Joshua has been fighting forever. He's fought the best of the best in boxing. And, if Jake Paul does it, from what you're saying, Michael, Jake Paul did accept the fight. Hopefully Anthony does it, and, it'll be a good paycheck for both those guys, and we'll see what happens. But I think people got to start looking at Jake Paul, and he's good for boxing. You'll look what he's been able to do with Hermano Sereno. He gave Mike Perry his biggest paycheck in his whole entire life. Not cumulative to his whole entire career, but he's given, Mike Perry a good check. I think people need to
I don't
start.
got no hate for Jake.
Yeah.
For Jack, as Turkey would say, calls him Jack. Jack
He calls him Jack. Jack
he does. He says Jack Paul. But
Oh, fuck.
no hate for Jack. I'd love to punch him in the face again another time.
Yeah, I love it. So
Yeah, let's be honest. Mike Perry wrecks Jake Paul and bare knuckle. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, 1000%.
Mike's too humble. Mike's too humble to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I think if you take those gloves off, Mike Perry finishes him.
Yeah.
Just like the rest of the guys in BKFC.
Yeah.
I just don't see Jack Paul doing that.
No, he
There's
never
that
would.
gritty
No.
world of bare knuckle. So, I'll just hold on to the gritty world of bare knuckle for me. And maybe me and Jack Paul can get in a bar fight one day.
Yeah. Over your tequila. While the platinum tequila is sitting right there and you guys are about to take a shot.
That would be beautiful. Jack, hit me up.
Boom. Well, there you go, guys. That is our man, Mike Perry. Make sure you guys check out all the stuff that's going on. Check out the Platinum Tequila. Check out his fight October 11th in bare knuckle fighting. Also, check out DBX3 August 29th. We'll be streaming on YouTube or Kick. Just make sure you go follow the man's Instagram page. He's making movies, and he's going to keep you guys updated where you can find him. I'm your host, Demetrious Johnson, co-host Michael Wansover, and our guest, Mike Platinum Perry. We will see you guys at the next episode of the MIGHTYcast. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the MIGHTYcast, and we are going to recap everything we just went through with our guest. And our guest was Mike Platinum Perry. I mean, like I said before the show, he's in everything outside of the UFC. When it comes to dirty boxing, he's an owner or part owner in that, commentating, and then you also have bare knuckle fighting. He's back in that as well. We don't know if he's part of the $25 million tournament, but he is fighting somebody October 11th. And then he's also got the Platinum Tequila. And I think the most thing that I always find interesting in Mike is that he's a free agent. And right now, I don't know if you guys have been, following the whole scene about the Ali Act and obviously the UFC lawsuit. And they're trying to pass the Ali Act inside of mixed martial arts, will give people to have the opportunity to be able to do the free market. Right now, if you're a mixed martial artist and you're in the UFC, or if you're in one championship or you're in PFL, you're locked in an exclusive contract. But you have a gentleman like Mike Perry who's not exclusive. He's gone off and fought in bare knuckle fighting. Then he went off and fought Jake Paul. And then he did another bare knuckle fighting. And now he wants to get into DBX. I wanted to ask him because a lot of people say that free market is good. But you guys got to think, Mike Perry is one of those guys who's built a big name, and everybody wants to see him fight. So you think about all the other guys who don't have big name, would they be able to benefit from the free market? Only time would tell if that Ali Act gets passed inside of the mixed martial arts world, but we'll see. But it's kind of interesting to see Mike Perry just jump around and do whatever he wants. And that whole thing, the viral, the thing, and when you asked him, Michael, like, what's it like being around Conor? My first thought would be like, holy shit, what type of cocaine is Conor McGregor on? Because that man,
I was trying. I didn't want to ask, but did you see like the kind of like the video that went viral from the press conference of him kind of going like? Did you see?
And may we rise above the night sky and rain down blows viciously on all our deniers, and announce here today that Bare Knuckle FC has no love for the big glove.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I mean, first off, we got little Conor. He's a great promoter. I think it's good that they brought him in to promote. I didn't like the fact they kind of, pushed Mike Perry to the side, but now everything's all good. I think you have Conor McGregor, as a promoter with Dave Felderman.
You think that dick pic was like galaxy brain thinking of promoting?
You know what? I don't know what it is. This is my honest
leak that dick pic, blow it up, and then he could promote his UFC return. He could promote BKFC.
When we look at this, like it's truly what Dave Chappelle said. Dave Chappelle said Twitter doesn't exist unless you play there or you acknowledge it. Where you have Conor, he's sending dick pics to Azalea Banks lifting weights with his dick. I don't know if it's true or if it's not. And then you have John Jones.
That'd be an amazing. Imagine someone being smart enough to Photoshop. You know what? I'm gonna Photoshop Conor McGregor's dick and put a mini weight on it. if it wasn't for the mini weight, maybe I could believe it was Photoshop. But like the mini weight's like, dude, you
fuck, man. I mean, like now you're
no one breaks it down like shout out to Uncle Chael. No one breaks it down.
Yeah, now you're bringing
like
that.
Uncle Chael.
Now you're bringing up that fucking image in my mind that I try to forget. Jesus Christ, Michael. But back to the context, you have him doing dick pics, and then you have John Jones fucking walking home at fucking 2 a.m. in the morning from a girl who's in the car, and he's threatening. It's like these guys do shit. And nobody bats an eye. You got John at the fucking ESPYs. He retires. He's back now. It's like you can't put too much stock into what these guys fucking do because obviously it's like what MMA Guru said. You can't disrespect somebody if they have no respect for themselves. That's the way you got to put it, right? And but hey, I think Conor is a great promoter. I think it's good that they have him on bare knuckle fighting because he does have that Midas touch, whether he's promoting or whether he's promoting him and his penis lifting weights in the closet. It's always going to go viral. And I'm excited to see, who knows, maybe we could see down the line Mike Perry fighting Conor McGregor inside of BKFC or DBX. But who fucking knows, man? I can't keep track of these guys.
I don't think Conor McGregor's ever fighting again. And if he does, I could see a Jake Paul on Netflix. I could see that. I could see a Floyd Mayweather rematch. I could see Manny Pacquiao. Those might be the only three where maybe the money's crazy enough where the dude could put down the cocaine and the dick weights for a 8-week camp. But other than that, yeah, he is not. He is not fighting.
You said put down a dick weight for I don't know. He might be in camp now.
Maybe.
He's in camp now. We just don't know it. Just a different type of camp.
He's not fighting at the White House. I'm sorry to break it to everyone.
I don't know, man. I bet you he probably. That's why I laugh. That's why I just laugh like. Yeah, what a world, what a time we live in, my friend. What a time we live in. We got multi-million-dollar athletes. One can't take a fucking Uber to save his life. And then you got one in the fucking, the closet fucking sending dick pics, lifting weights. Hey, man. It is what it is. But let's get back to Mike Perry. Mike Perry, what a treat. He's always so gracious with his time. Got the platinum tequila. I always love when I see athletes venture off and to make their own tequila or some type of product. That way, you see he's taking advantage. He's utilizing the money he's made from bare knuckle fighting, the Jake Paul fight, and DBX to be able to create other things that'll be a long-lasting dynasty for him and his family.
Yeah, we got to do a taste test of Aljo, Conor McGregor's Proper 12.
Oh Jesus!
And Mike Perry. We got to do a blind taste test. What's it called? Funk Harbor.
Funk Harbor.
Shout out Aljo made sure we got to get.
Shout out to Aljo.
I think Jorge Masvidal has one too. We got to do a video, and maybe that. Are you allowed to drink on YouTube? That's the only thing I don't know.
Ooh, I'm not sure, but I don't drink alcohol, so we're gonna have to.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We'll have to let you do all the taste testing.
I wouldn't even know the difference between rum, tequila.
Yeah, I've tried Proper number 12. Wasn't a fan. I tried Funk Harbor. That shit was delicious. I got drunk off that. I really enjoyed that. I haven't tried the Platinum Tequila, and I haven't tried Jorge Masvidal's tequila as well. But if I had to go, who's better, Proper number 12 or Funk Harbor, I would choose Funk Harbor. The notes are very delicious, and it's from Jamaica, so I got to go with the Funk Harbor. And just by taste, too. I'm not a big whiskey guy. The whiskey, it wasn't delicious. I didn't really like it.
No, and getting back to Mike Perry, I was correct. 2023 Mighty Award winner for Male Fighter of the Year, and this is his third time on the MIGHTYcast, so he's become a regular friend of the show. Mm-hmm. And no, I just love his. I always will say this: he is the Mike Tyson of BKFC.
Yeah,
you go against him in the fights, you better watch. Like, if you're going to watch a Mike Perry fight, pay attention for the first couple minutes, because that's probably all you're going to get with Eddie Alvarez, Luke Rockhold, Thiago Alves.
I'm excited. Michael Venom Page. I mean,
oh yeah, MVP's a fucking mad. We had him on, and he's a madman for not even getting knocked out. He actually that went to decisions.
yeah,
close decision.
And then even did he fight? No, that was Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendes. But I mean, Mike Perry has fought the who's who, not just in bare knuckle fighting, but also in the UFC. His analogy of Donald Cerrone's fucking grappling, saying that he's a fucking snake, a boa, a constrictor. He goes, I don't even know what type of fucking snake that is, but real Tarzan, go get it. He's all over the fucking place, and I absolutely love it. And I love that he's been able to monetize everything. It feels like he has a strategy with DPX and the Platinum Tequila. And I'm happy to hear that he's happy to be back in BKFC, because there was a little time where he was kind of like, man, I felt like they wrote me off after everything I'd done for that company. And I can understand the way he feels, because, he did do a lot for fucking BKFC, right? Like the Luke Rockhold fight, I was there live. The whole fucking crowd loved that fight. It was a great fight. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
And we're the ones who always say that there needs to be money outside of the UFC for these fighters.
Yep.
And you look at a guy like Rosenstrike, who, people thought he was wrongly cut from the UFC, which, man, when you look at that heavyweight division, he absolutely was wrongly cut, because there's so many other guys on that heavyweight roster that I would cut before Rosenstrike.
Yep.
But giving him a platform, giving Andrei Arlovski a platform in dirty boxing, it's giving these fighters another platform to... Okay, I'm sure Rosenstrike, will sign with a major promotion, but it's giving him, in the meantime, these fights to kind of get back on his feet. So I think it's awesome giving these fighters just somewhere else to make money.
Yep, I agree. Well, boys, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the MIGHTYcast, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to never go live. And make sure you guys check out October 11th, Mike Perry be fighting in BKFC. August 29th, DBX3. You can watch it on YouTube or Kick, wherever they're going to be streaming it. Just follow them on Instagram, and that will let you know where you can watch it. I'm your host, Demetrious Johnson. My co-host, right-hand man, Michael Wansover. We will see you guys at the next episode of the MIGHTYcast. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the MIGHTYcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had this guest on here before. Back in January, he was the Mighty Athlete of the Year in 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome back the King of Violence, Mike Platinum Perry. What's going on, baby? How you doing? How you living?
I'm doing good, brother. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure.
Yes, the King of Violence looking good. I mean, last time we talked to you, you just beat Luke Rockhold and Eddie Alvarez, and now you're about to fight Jake Paul in boxing. We'll talk about that later in the show. But before, last time we had you in the show, you were about to get ready to fight Thiago Alves, which I thought was going to be a tougher fight, just because Thiago Alves, great stand-up, Muay Thai expert, and you finished him in the first round. Like, when you did it, I was like, I got my computer set up, I got everything set up, had the popcorn, had the tequila, ready to watch a good fight, and then Mike Perry does it again. The King of Violence strikes again. You finish him in the first round. What happened? What happened there?
I didn't leave you enough to do a video on. You were like, I'm going to be covering this fight. It was over. It was it.
Yeah.
And no one in history had ever done that to Thiago Alves.
Yeah, exactly.
All his fights, all that stuff, man.
Well,
go, please.
Like I said before, you're doing things to people that nobody's ever done before. The Luke Rockhold, the Eddie Alvarez, now Thiago Alvarez, right? Like, you're stopping these guys in bare knuckle fighting, right? And it's unprecedented that we're seeing this, especially like when you're fighting the UFC. I didn't think you did bad in mixed martial arts. You were still finishing people with beautiful elbows and all that shit, but now you're like making people stop within the second and third round, even the first round with Thiago.
My mixed martial arts career, my record, if people look at it, if they don't really know or they didn't see, like, I was always a fan favorite to watch. I always had banger fights, and I tried to finish fights, and, out of my losses, 6 of them are decisions. And, where they favored the other guy for their own reasons, close fights, good experience with a lot of great fighters. One of my favorite things to do has always been to add up the records of my opponents And if you add up the wins and losses of my opponents that I've faced, I mean, we're talking thousands of fights, and that's a bit of experience, kind of like Avatar, The Last Airbender, when they go into the spirit world, and then you see all the thousands of avatars that there's ever been. You know, bare knuckle is cool because I just have something for it, I guess, and I squeeze that fist and hit people with it, and I'm a boxer, brawler, fighter, street fighter, whatever you want to call it. And I have some talents in those areas. And, you know, with these 10-ounce, I know you said we were going to get to it later, but you're just making me think about these 10-ounce gloves that I'm going to put on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, headgear. I'm stopping people in the gym with 16-ounce gloves and headgear on. And, you know, with these 10-ounce gloves, I'm going to hit Jake really hard, man. I'm going to hurt him.
Okay, well, since you want to go ahead and talk about the Jake Paul, we'll go ahead and jump into it. So I don't know if you saw me advocating for you on Ariel Helwani's show, right? They asked me a question. He goes, hey, what do you think about Jake Paul taking on Mike Tyson? And I said, it's absolutely fucking stupid. And what I meant by that was no disrespect to Jake Paul, no disrespect to Mike Tyson. But, you know, Mike Tyson's going to be 58 years old. He had health complications getting ready for this fight against Jake Paul. And I am so dumbfounded that they can't find anybody else that's close to his age who is in their prime that's beating people. And I said, you know what? You know who he should fight? He should fight Mike Perry. Mike Perry's going to get in there. He's going to walk forward. He's going to cross the distance, get in the void, and he's going to take the fight to Jake Paul. 2 weeks later, headlines: Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. Mike Perry stepping in to take over for Iron Mike Tyson. I think this is a better matchup. I am so happy you were able to get this, Mike Perry. I think you deserve it. I think this is the best opportunity for Jake Paul and you. And I was like, about damn time that somebody from mixed martial arts, from bare knuckle fighting, is going to take it to Jake Paul. And it's going to be our savior, the king of violence, Mike Perry. How did this opportunity come about for you?
Well, you know, I've been winning. I've been winning.
Hey, I want to tell you something, Mike. I've been winning too, and I haven't had an opportunity like that. So there's got to be more to just winning, because there's a lot of people out there who've been doing a lot of winning, Mike. Right?
Consistently, 3 years. 3 years I've been winning.
Okay.
I've been stopping these people, these guys. You know, I fought a boxer, then I went to bare knuckle, and I fought these. I fought an experienced bare knuckle fighter. My first fight, my opponent had 9 bare knuckle fights. So you can't.
Julian Lane. I literally just broke that fight down, and we're gonna talk about that too. But continue.
He's a rambunctious dude, and he's still getting better. You know, but so you can't use the experience that I have in bare knuckle against, you know, the opponents that I've faced, because Eddie had a win in bare knuckle. And, you know, he got to put some weight and size on and be strong or whatever. Who knows if he was juicing? I don't know or care. I don't know how many people I've fought ever been on this stuff, but I know people I've trained with been on this stuff, and I don't care about those things. I come to fight. And, you know, Luke Rockhold was a bigger guy. I've performed so well at 185. You know, in the past 3 years, we have this build up to see me in the ring, and then I'm in there for 40 seconds.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, all right, well, let's try him out with the Disney kid. We'll put the pads on his hands so maybe the Disney kid can take a couple of those punches. And I want to remind Jake Paul very often that he doesn't want to step into my world and do it without the gloves. Who knows? Maybe we'll fight at the press conference, bare knuckle, before the fight even happens. If him or his little team try to do some funny shit, I'll turn the room upside down, man. So I'm here for it. I am here for the altercations. and the problems. I'm here for the problem child, and I'm going to whoop his butt. You need to behave, little boy.
When you say you're gonna whoop his little butt, I can just imagine you putting Jake Paul on your lap and just pulling his pants down and give him a nice little old-fashioned swatting from behind when you said they're gonna whoop his little butt.
I'm gonna pull my belt out at the press conference and start smacking him. Let's see what happens. I'll get
Okay, so you're saying this opportunity came to you because you've been winning. Now, was it his management? Did your management bring it to you, or like, walk me through this? Like, you know, when it comes to mixed martial arts, as you know, if you're with the UFC, one championship, PFL, you have a matchmaker and all that stuff, but you're in a different realm. You're the king of violence in bare knuckle fighting, right? And shout out to bare knuckle fighting for allowing you to go off and box against Jake Paul, because I don't know what your stipulation is with your contract. Typically, when you're in one organization, you're locked to them. So shout out to bare knuckle fighting for allowing you to go do this, to take advantage of this opportunity. But did your team reach out to them, or did they reach out to you? Like, why were you hand selected? I understand you whooping everybody's ass, Mike. I understand and I get that, but there's a little more logistics that goes on than just whooping people's asses.
Well, I think comments and the fan base might have something to do with it. The MMA community, as well as, you know, I don't know how many of Jake Paul's little fans. First of all, I don't know how many of his fans are really his fans. They come to boo him and they want to see him get beat up. I don't get it, but you know, that's it. It's they're millennials or something. I don't get it, but people were rooting for it. They were like, he needs to fight a guy who's not 58, a guy who's not 47 like Anderson Silva. You know, it took him 2 fights to do it to Woodley. Woodley fought smarter the first time, I guess, or he just got caught. In the second one, I like the brawl. I'm more of a brawler, I think, than Woodley is, and I'm bringing that pressure. And I love the boxing. I've been doing well in the boxing. I've been in the boxing ring. That's a big difference from, you know, back in the day when me and Jake sparred a couple years ago. Was I was doing MMA and I was doing jiu-jitsu all the time and grappling and kicking and all that stuff. And my hands were still decent, but practicing it every day for 3 years and just every time I go to the gym, my goal is to put pressure on people. Mm-hmm. There's never a moment wasted in the ring where I'm trying to figure things out. Because when I train to exhaust myself as much as possible. Every round, I'm trying to reach my climax, if you will. And I get exhausted. I recover in 30 seconds. I do short in between rounds. I don't do a full minute rest. And, you know, for example, I've been putting some weight on for this fight. And, you know, you ever stand on one of those things you put your thumbs on and it takes your weight and your feet are on it. You ain't got no socks on and it takes your BMI and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's called a DEXA scan. A DEXA scan, I believe it is.
Okay. And it will, I put my phone number in and it records the last one I took and the second one I took. And when I started this process, the dates were, it was 20 days ago. I went the first time and then I came back and I went to this supplement company and I got protein, creatine, glutamine, and I got some stuff because we're fighting at 199 and my bare knuckle fights were as big as 185 and I was weighing 189 in the ring. And but what happened was my skeletal muscle mass went up from 92 to 102 in 20 days. My weight went from 189 to 198.9 in 20 days. And my body fat percentage went from 15% to 12.5%, all while gaining this weight And it's just proof that I'm doing the work. I'm training so hard. I'm taking the protein drinks, the glutamine, all that stuff. I'm taking my digestive enzymes. I'm eating more and also doing the work, the exercises, because I put on 10 pounds of muscle and not just 10 pounds of flubber. So I'm excited to see what I can do, get in the ring and push him around with some of my body weight. I think he'll be like 210, 212, maybe a little bigger. The bigger he is, the harder he'll fall.
That's right. That's right. Now, so the fight, the weight's at 199. Why not just 200? Was this...
It's cruiserweight, so it's 176 to 200 is cruiserweight.
Gotcha. Okay, I felt
lighter. Maybe he'll come in lighter. Well, that's fine.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just curious. It was like 199, so I didn't know it was set at cruiserweight. So you could weigh 177 between 200 pounds. That's basically the limit of the range you could be in. Like if it's like you have, light heavyweight, you could weigh 205 all the way to 225, right? Because I think 205 to 220 is light heavyweight, and then 235 to 265 is heavyweight, I believe. So that's
wait. In MMA?
In MMA, yeah.
No.
It's 205.
MMA light heavyweight stops at 205.
Yeah, it stops at 205.
Oh shit. Okay. So it stops 205. Then after that,
it's like
206 to
maybe we'll edit that out.
205.
No, leave it in there. There's so many fucking weight classes. You have one championship. The hydrated weight. I'm a flyweight, but I fight at 135. When in America it's 125, right? And then even in one championship, lightweight is 170. Hydrated, where 170 in America is welterweight. So that's why I got confused, because I have all these different weight classes. Then in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and IBJJF, featherweight is 154, where featherweight MMA is 145. Featherweight in one championship is 135. Is 145, I think. So when you doing this type of shit, Mike, were you covering all these sports, jiu-jitsu, boxing, bare knuckle fighting, mixed martial arts? I got so many different ones I had to keep track of. So when you said 199, I didn't know that was a specific weight class for cruiserweight in boxing. So I'm learning just as much as you're learning every day.
Yeah, I mean, welterweight in boxing is 147.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
It's all over the place. I didn't know that about one. I knew that you guys did you got to be hydrated when you make weight. I'm glad I never had to do that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to be hydrated. So when we fight in one, it's better for the athletes, right? Like you have so many guys who, cut so much massive weight. And then when they go to fight, they don't have as much fluid around their brain. Their kidneys are drained, or their organs have been, worked or whatnot. And I enjoy it, especially later in my career, because it's like I'm not cutting to 125. When I made 125 in the UFC, I was nothing but skin and bones and just an ashy motherfucker stepping on the scale. Now, your boy hydrated. I'm fucking flexing on motherfuckers. I'm ready to rock and roll. And now when I do jiu-jitsu, I don't even cut weight. I just go to 154. I ain't about that life anymore. So it's a little bit different. So that's why I was kind of confused of like, the weight class is 199. I'm like, what what is that? So it makes sense now. The cruiserweight is, you said it's 175 to 200, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Now, how many rounds is it?
8 3-minute rounds.
8 3-minute rounds. And then is this standard for boxing, or is this something you guys agreed on?
It's what Florida agreed to. The commission, they approved us for 8 3-minute rounds. I was gunning for 10. I think Jake was gunning for 10. But possibly because of my professional boxing record, they probably just approved it for 8. So
why would they do that? You should be like, motherfucker, so if you see me do bare knuckle fighting is way more dangerous than boxing. I mean, or vice versa. They could say, boxing is way more dangerous than bare knuckle because you're stopping people within the first or second round. And the most rounds you're going to go is 5 minutes. And it's 2-minute rounds in bare knuckle fighting, correct?
Yes, 5 2-minute rounds.
5 2-minute rounds. And that's championship. That's not just, non-championship, it's 3 rounds, 2 minutes, correct?
No. Every fight is 5 2-minute rounds.
Really?
Unless the state approves the sudden death round, which is the 6th and extra round, which me and MVP for the second time in history went to a 6th round. And
so you're saying in bare knuckle fighting, if you're a champion, there's no like 7 rounds. It's 5. It's all across the board. Whether you're a champion or not, you're fighting an exact you're fighting an exact duration.
Yes.
Wow, I did not know that. That's kind of crazy because any other form of mixed martial arts or combat, I should say, the one MMA, boxing, I think it's 12 rounds, right? And then non-boxing, a non-title fight in boxing is 10 rounds or 8 rounds, or is it always? I wonder if it's always dependent on the commission, Vegas, Florida, California, etc.
Yep, I would say so. They all have something to do with it, but I was just thinking about this. I kind of want to give a shout out to the Quantum Bar.
Hey, we're business partners now.
The Quantum Bar. Let's go, man.
Hey. When that bad boy sells, we'll get on a yacht and drink some champagne together. That's what a lot of people don't understand, right?
Good.
That's just business partners, and now it's not if it sells, it's just when it sells. So hey, I appreciate you. I'm glad you like the bars, and I'm glad you're part of the company now. Now.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. They didn't even make it to me.
What?
All them boys at the management office destroyed them.
Oh.
They destroyed them, and I was like, you know what? They must be good if they didn't get to me.
Yeah, they're good, man. I've been part of the company since 2018. And it's something that I've been very passionate about, just trying to give that clean energy through food. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, like, about when I jumped on board with the company, is that everybody has their way they like to consume their caffeine, right? My wife, she loves coffee. She absolutely loves it. I got a buddy who loves fucking G Fuel, and he loves to drink it. I even take G Fuel. And then this morning, my daughter woke me up at 4:30 this morning. 4:30 in the AM. Daddy, can I watch Super Kitties? Daddy, can I watch Bluey? Daddy. I saw the train. So I woke up this morning. I didn't want to take G Fuel in the morning. I don't want all that, didn't want all those vitamins. So I just took a Quantum bar, chopped it up, threw it in my oatmeal, had some oatmeal with strawberries, Quantum, eggs, and what did I have? Oh, and I had my chicken sausage. And then I was able to get through my workout, and here I am talking to you, King of Violence. So it's an amazing product. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get yourself some Quantum Energy Squares, go to the website, use my promo code MIGHTY, or just buy some if you want to try some.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I gotta try some. I remember, when I fought in the UFC, and they really started taking control of, helping us with our food. They would have food set in trays, like meal prep, and they had little sweet treats that were healthy for you that you could eat, and they wouldn't mess up your weight cut. And I remember them having like some energy bars, really good stuff when you are a clean eater. I don't know if the Quantum bars are the same as those caffeine bars were, but I mean, when you're on a good diet, like, healthy stuff tastes amazing,
Oh, 1,000%. Like, even though I'm not getting ready for any fights or competition, the next competition I plan on doing is going to be the end of August. But last night, came home, had had asparagus, a cup of white rice, and I had some fresh cod, miso cod, and it tastes absolutely amazing with some avocado. Nice. Like, it's just the way I love to eat. When you start eating clean, and you're at the peak of your athlete career right now, right? You're undefeated in bare knuckle fighting, about to take on Jake Paul. You're eating all these clean meals, right? So if you were to go out there and have like a shitty burger or a milkshake and all that stuff, your body's going to feel it. But when you start having that clean stuff, you're like, why would I ever go back eating the trash food that I was eating before? I mean, don't get me wrong, in moderation, it's always good. But when you're eating those clean foods, your body craves it. Like, like, I crave, the only thing I usually crave is like water and watermelon right now, and tequila. Those are the things I crave. Like, I cannot get enough of watermelon, tequila, and water. I can't.
Good, yeah. Yeah, I'm having a break from the tequila for sure for the fight, but and pizza and fried chicken or fried chicken sandwiches. You know, I'm trying to take a break from that. And my wife's pretty great help. We get meals from Freshly, and we just order, and then she gets a recipe and she chops it all up, puts it all together, and it's healthy and it's tasty. I definitely love a clean meal, but then, you know, you do it for a couple of weeks and then you're like, man, I could go for a pizza burger.
Yep. Whoa. A pizza burger? What's a pizza burger?
Why not? Yeah, man.
No, you mean a pizza and a burger, or a pizza burger?
Look, you can have a pizza with burger on it, or you can have two little pizzas with a big old burger in the middle, and you eating pepperoni pizza burger. Good stuff, man.
I've never heard of that before. I was kind of confused. I was like, this motherfucker. I can see you at the restaurant. I'm like, can I get a bun, patty, lettuce, tomato, slice of pepperoni pizza, mustard, bun,
yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna eat. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go upstairs to my wife, like, baby, we need to try pizza burger. She goes, what the fuck is that? I'm like, Mike Perry said it's this, baby. I've never fucking heard of that before.
Just take 2 slices of pizza and put a burger in between it, and then
I don't know if my mouth's big enough to. I gotta squish that thing down real tight to be able to fit in my little mouth.
Hey, yo, pause, man.
Okay, let me get back on track. I don't want you climaxing at the end of this fucking this interview. Okay, so you were talking about your very first fight in bare knuckle fight against Julian Lane, right? I just broke that fight down, and I was talking to people when I was watching it. You absorbed a little bit more damage than you usually do. Obviously, it was your first time fighting bare knuckle fighting. But when I was breaking that down, I was telling people how you do such a good job of crossing a distance and getting into the void and starting an exchange with Julian. And then as the fight went on, you started to make your reads, which you make those reads now when you fought Luke, Eddie, and even Thiago Alves, but you would show your feints. You would feint, and then they will cover up in their shell, and you would throw an uppercut. Or when he comes across the distance, you would turn, check, left hook, and then you also did a good job when you would tie up. You were looking to break the tie up and do some little dirty boxing, going to the body and going up. And I think when you take on Jake Paul, we're going to see a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's boxing basics. You know what I mean? That's what I do, is just basics over and over and over and over again. And, you know, we're working on the technique, fine tuning the details, and, I'm in pretty good shape right now. So it's just kind of adding everything, all the little details and the step where it's a lot of footwork. It's all feet really. And, you know, that's why I don't move my head that much, because I'm moving my feet. And, you know, I roll with the shots and throw them back. And, you know, it depends on what Jake wants to do. Because when I want to put the pressure on him, is he gonna grab me? He's going to let that right hand go. Is he going to try to keep me at distance with the jab to the body, I'm sure, or even just the jab? He's going to try to push me off so he can get the distance right for his right hand. I'm just going to try to, you know, smother that. And once I'm inside, you know, work from there. I do have some good shots on the outside as well. I'm sure his hands will be up. But, you know, a good example of what to do against him from watching the Tommy Fury fight. I mean, Tommy didn't even put his hands up, and he was taking Jake's best shots, and I'm pretty sure I can take a shot better than Tommy Fury can. So, you know, I like to get into the nitty gritty, make it as violent as possible. That would probably be why I am the king of violence, sir. So
I would agree on that. I would agree on that on all fronts. Now, the biggest thing when you mentioned Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul, I think you're a way better athlete than Tommy Fury, right? You think about, obviously Tommy Fury has came out that he said he's never taken boxing as serious as his family has. You look at his brother Tyson Fury, where you've had the experience in mixed martial arts, bare knuckle fighting. So I honestly think this is probably the best test that Jake Paul's going to have. That's no disrespect to T Wood, no disrespect to Anderson Silva, no disrespect to the oil worker and the pizza boy who was delivering pizzas before he fought Jake Paul, right? Like, you are in the prime of your career right now, and you're winning. You've been winning the last 3 years, and you've been stopping people. The last time Jake Paul stopped somebody was the guy who was doing oil rigs, right? So, like, for me, like, a lot of people look at me like, oh man, you're just hating on Jake Paul. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just stating facts. Everything I'm stating is the actual fact, right? He did finish Anderson Silva. He did finish Tyron Woodley. Right, I was a little heartbroken when that happened, but it's happened. But I think when it comes to you versus T Wood, you've been more active. At the time of T Wood's career, he was on his way out, essentially, right? For you, you're up, like, you're what, 33, 34 now?
32 still.
32, excuse me, 32. So you're in your prime as a man and as an athlete. So I think this is going to be the best opportunity for Jake Paul to see where he's at, because you do bring a lot of things to this fight that I obviously know Mike Tyson wouldn't be able to bring, because you could take a shot and you can also get in there and mix it up. Not saying Mike Tyson can't do it, but I know if Mike Tyson gets hit with a couple of those shots, at 58 years old, your body is like, dog, we've been doing this since we're 18. We're not taking it anymore.
Yeah. I feel like Mike can do it, obviously, right? And I'm trying to mess that up, but like, I don't want to take away from Mike. So it's like, you do. You king of violence does what he does best. You go out there, you create that violence, you take away from him, because I'm hoping if you are successful, which I am predicting you are, as long as you do what you do best, don't get hurt, stick and move, and put the pressure on him. Is there an opportunity we're going to see you fight again in boxing, or you're going to go back to bare knuckle fighting, or you're going to keep going back and forth? Well, I definitely know bare knuckle is on the list for sure to go back. And that would make me one of the most dominant athletes in history to have really transcended across these sports, and done well for myself. So, but I was going to say, this Netflix deal with Mike Tyson, I mean, I feel like I knock Jake out and they'll be like, hey, do you want to fight Mike instead? And I'll just go in there. I'll go in there and let him punch on me a little bit, man. It might be painful. But, maybe I'll try to give him a good old body shot. Fighting Mike would be cool, man. If I could steal this whole thing from Jake and just it'd be me and Mike Tyson, it would just be more fitting. And then I would get yelled at for fighting the old guy, but like I already everybody already saw me fight the old guy.
So pretty much this is your angle now. You're becoming the villain, right? At first, I looked at you as a hero, Mike. I truly did. You're coming in here, you're gonna, take it to Jake Paul, become the hero we needed, that we didn't know we needed. You beat Jake Paul, and all along you've been scheming the whole fucking time, like, I'm gonna go out there and beat Jake Paul, and then I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson, steal that Netflix deal for myself, and then I'm gonna beat up the old person. That's what you're trying to do right now, right?
But look, here's my thought process, right? Is Mike was gonna do this fight and he was going to get paid. Mm-hmm. And I go out there and I show people that Jake can't box because I'm finna teach him. Last time we sparred years ago, I taught him then. He learned a few things about fighting that day. He ain't teach me shit. He ain't teach me nothing. I already knew everything. Oh, so you hit me with your right hand. Oh, I like that. That was a good right hand. Come here real quick. Let me show you something. And then, Mike need to get that money. Mike want that money, from one Mike to another. It'd be my honor, brother.
Now let's talk about that sparring match between you and Jake Paul. Like I went back and watched a little bit of it. It was only like, I think not even a minute of it, but you were helping him spar. Like, were you helping to get ready for a boxing match, or how did you guys link up to begin with?
So I was, that was my wife who took that video. We weren't married at the time, but they tried to like, you know, crowd her and bully her when I was in the ring after, you know, she snuck that video in, and then they were like, hey, you got to delete that. And she was like, okay, and didn't. And so then I posted that later. He never posted anything but me. I saw that camera when I planted this seed, bro. I'm telling you, I planted this. I saw the camera and I looked at Jake breathing all hard and heavy, and I was like, hey, man, good job, bro. You kicked my ass. Good job, Jake. Kick my ass.
No, it's good, bro. Good work.
Oh yeah,
he was getting ready for, I think it was Ben Askren, and then I was fighting Daniel Rodriguez in a week. I was a week out from D-Rod, and who, you know, it's just a southpaw. D-Rod's a southpaw. 170-pound fight. I was weighing 179 already to cut weight that week to make it to 170. And Jake was at least, you know, 195 or bigger. And he hit me as hard as he could. Twice with the right hand. Hard as he could. First time, they was like, ooh, you a sniper. All his people on the outside, ooh. But I took that hit and I just smiled. I smiled at him. Oh, okay, here I come. And then I just chased him around the ring, and he ducked his head a lot. And I started making him duck into some shots, and just kept the pressure on him. And then, you know, because he was fighting, maybe it was a T. Woodley fight, one of the T. Woodley fights he was about to fight, and he had a 8-round fight. And we only sparred 6 rounds. They told me in the 5th round, they were like, hey, Mike, this is going to be the last round going into the 6th. I was like, oh, okay. I thought he had an 8-round fight. Why you guys don't you guys want the work for 8 rounds?
Yeah.
No, we're just going to do some drills and stuff after this round. So, oh, okay. Why did they do that? I was ready for 8. I'm just saying. So rounds, that's why I'm saying rounds 7 or rounds 8, the pressure's going to catch up to him. But also all the training I'm doing, all the strength I'm gaining, all the ability in my punching power and my ability to just eat shots like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he called me an idiot because I eat shots. It's fighting, bro. You're going to get hit. You better learn how to do it. No one rolls with the punches like Platinum Mike Perry. And, you know, I take all the shots that life has given me and I shine through. And this is a big opportunity for me. And I said, with all the power I have, maybe, because he said 3 or under. That's what he's giving me, 3 or under. He's coming to get me, huh? You're going to put me down? Well, I might fucking put you down in 3 or under, but I'm saying 7 or 8 because I want to have fun in the ring, put on a show.
So 3 and under from Jake Paul, and you saying you get him into 3 or 4, but 7 to 8. I think if I had to make a prediction, I think round 5, 6, and 7 is where you will probably get him. If the damage, if you don't sustain too much damage going after him, right? Because we all know, like you said, I think that's the biggest thing, and that's what helped my career is like once I realized I'm going to get hit and accept that, it made me a better fighter because I didn't run away. It got me in positions to actually land shots, if that makes sense, right? If you're always trying to move and duck and do this shit, and you have somebody else who's doing the exact same thing, you're never going to get to that position to get the kill shot. Right? But if you say, okay, I'm going to eat this shot, as long as I'm not eating it flush, or if I do eat it flush, like for me, I've never had the best chin, even though I've been rocked before, but I always try to take it not as flush, it's still grazing off the cheekbones or whatnot. if you do that, if you're able,
you can't say you've never had the best chin when like the only time you had any struggle at all was in a new area of the sport you had been king of for 15 years, and you got kneed in the face on the ground.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do there. That was a kill shot.
And then what? Because when you were telling me, I was thinking about you hitting him with that right hand, and then just scooting across the cage.
Yep. Yeah.
Up against the cage. Amazing.
Yeah, so I was able to get that because I wasn't worried about getting hit. Right? Like I was standing there, I was moving my head, and then it took me 4 rounds to get to that point where the first and second rounds, I was just throwing body kicks and he would catch them, where a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to throw a body kick because if he catches it, then he's going to take me down. I was like, fuck it, take me down and we'll fight off my back.
Okay.
Right. So I'm saying more for you, it's like you have accepted that you're going to get hit. That's what made you so good in bare knuckle fighting, right? You were like, hey, I'm going to get hit. I'm not going to avoid it. So Eddie would hit you. Luke would hit you. Julian would hit you. You'd be like, you know what? I fucking love that. Give me some more of that. You be begging him after the fight. I want some more because I'm going to take your shot, but you ain't going to be able to take mine as much as I can give it. And if you can take my shot, I'm going to bust your face up and the doctors are going to stop it, right? Or you're going to quit. So for you having that mindset going in there fighting Jake Paul is like, okay, the first, second, third round, you might have a hard time getting to Jake, right? I think you're expecting that potentially. But when it comes to the 4th, 5th, 6th, that's when the king of violence is starting to put even more pressure on him. You're going to start getting to him. And then 7, 8 will be his demise if everything works out according to plan. Now, shit happens, right? Like, who knows? You get cut with a fucking glove across your face. Who knows, right? But if I had to make predictions, that's what I think how the fight's going to play out.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I just know that the first and second and third round, second and third, I'm going to be warm and on fire. I'm going to be hot, cooking in that fucking ring because I'm going to be full of energy and I'm going to be expending it in an attempt to execute this, man, and my plan. So if he can survive that, because is there a storm? He fought these cab drivers, and did he go forward on them? Did he back up and set up his shot? Because he's looking for the right hand. He's looking to set up the right. And even when he hit T Wood with it, it was ugly. Elbow was down. It was like an overhand slap. It was like how my wife slaps me. If I'm talking shit to her, it's like, that's how my wife would slap me. So Jake out here hitting people like my wife.
Well, shit, I can't wait, man. It's like, just sitting here talking to you about it. It's like, this is a big fucking event. Like, for you to get this opportunity to fight Jake Paul, it's on the zone, I believe, right? It's on the zone.
If you're able, pay-per-view, July 20th, live Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Make sure y'all check out that pay-per-view if you can't make it live. It's going to be lit. I know I'm talking shit, but we about to fight. And I'm tired of the comments and all the people who would never say it to my face. I'm tired of that shit, dog.
Well, I think if you're successful, I think you're going to get a lot of praises. Even if you're not successful, you're still going to get a lot of praises, because even though you're going into his sport in boxing, it takes a lot of guts, courage, balls to do that, right? Because if you do lose to the Disney kid, you're like, God damn it, goddamn Mickey Mouse boy beat me, right? But hey, hats off to Jake Paul. But if you beat him, everyone's like, yes, Mike Perry did it. And then if you go off and try to execute your plan, which is steal the Netflix deal and they go fight Mike Tyson, they're going to have a lot more hate coming your way because you're trying to beat up one of the old legends in the game.
I ain't worried about that. I'm not doing that. And it's just whatever comes with this performance that I'm looking to put on. I'm looking to perform and be the best Platinum Mike Perry that I can be in this fight. And, no matter what anyone says or comments, whether it be positive or negative, it is me on this journey. It is I who will be the one stepping in the ring. It is a team effort. My team, my coach, the guys training with me at the gym, even when we're not sparring and we're just exercising, doing different boxing workouts, trying to better ourselves in a gym that's 95 degrees, no air coming in, as hot as balls, and I'm trying to keep my weight up. I go to training, I lose 8 pounds. I got to eat back 10. And it is a team effort, and it is me who has to go in the ring and execute the final parts of our plan. But we are building this plan. Jake obviously has a great team who is building him in his boxing, and they have been doing so, and they've gotten to do it at the high level. And why a lot of fighters don't necessarily like him, or they want to talk their shit to try to get their opportunity to fight him for this money fight. It's not really a money fight, in my opinion. Not for me. Maybe that's my fault, my name. Maybe it was for Nate Diaz, but it's, you know, the money's right on cue with what I'm getting paid with bare knuckles. So it's nothing extremely special, but the opportunities that will come if I am victorious and when I beat this kid, that is where it's going to be at, where all the success will lie. And, you know, I just get to go out there and enjoy the fight itself and perform to the best of my ability, because I've already built and established a money and savings and a home for me and my family. And this is just going to be a great part of my journey, and I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. And I think that's what makes me dangerous. I am a nice guy, believe it or not. I just, you know, being mean makes me happiest.
Well, I think let's talk about your journey real quick, and we'll let you go. Like, did you ever think your journey was going to lead you down this path? Like, when you say journey, I was just thinking about like all your fights in UFC, then you leave the UFC, then you go into bare knuckle fighting, all the fights you had in bare knuckle fighting, and then here you are now about to probably, you know, I don't want to say it's the biggest opportunity for you. It is a big opportunity, but I feel it's just adding to your legacy, adding to your brand. Your journey has been absolutely amazing and it's not the end of your journey. This is just another chapter of your journey, Mike Perry going into boxing, right? And did you ever think your journey is going to lead you down this path? Like, you know, when you started UFC, then when you left it, and then you started bare knuckle fighting, and then now you're about to fight Jake Paul?
You know, one thing that fighting all these fights has shown me is that there are lots of ways to win. And there are lots of ways for people to deal with me, my style. And it has taught me that, you know, I got to see those ways coming. And I even have to expect the unexpected. I have to see the ways that I don't see. That when I get in the ring, I've tried to cover every area of, you know, he's going to stick, he's going to move, he's going to hold, he's going to back up, and then grab, and then press forward, push me around with his body weight, and then back up, try to set up the big shot. All the different ways that he thinks he might possibly have to try to find a way to land good shots on me. And I got to show up as someone that he didn't expect. And is he versed enough to know to expect the unexpected? And I've fought lots of ways, lots of great people, you know, I'm down to fuck. I'm freaking ready to go in the middle, and we just stand right there and like power slap, but we're just punching, and no one moves, and we just punch until the first one takes a step back and you're getting knocked out. That's it. I would do that. But everyone else is like, oh, okay, you're so willing to do that. Let me poke you down here on your knee. Let me cut this angle and try to spin you around. Let me use my feet. Let me move my head. You know, that's fighting, right? We find different ways to hit and not get hit back. And I have this thing that is different than what we've seen through history, where a guy can take a beating and he seems to be indestructible. So, you know, all this build up, all the talking about it, all the training for it. I'm not going to waste any time. I got 8 3-minute rounds. I got 24 minutes after day in, day out, night after night of thinking, concentrating, focusing, and trying to relax away from it all. I'm going to be done waiting. And when that referee says fight, I'm coming to knock out your lights. Big call.
I cannot wait. Juan's over. You got anything for my man, Mike Perry?
Yeah, one thing I found interesting, I saw you said in a recent interview. So before this fight was approached to you, you were considering an MMA fight versus Dylan Dennis. What promotion would this have been for? What would it have looked like? And is that something that could still potentially happen in the future?
It is something that could happen, but the money wasn't really there for that. That would have been Misfits MMA. Dylan's a little shit. He's just a little shit, bro, and just out here talking shit like he's got 30 pro fights. You got 2, and you lost a boxing match to a WWE amateur boxer wrestler guy in Logan. Like, Dylan just likes, he gets attention, don't he? He gets attention. Everything. I don't know if he buys his little bot followers or what, but he's got a little group of people that like to talk about stuff. I'd be willing to fight it, but I'm getting the big bucks boxing.
Yeah.
And I like boxing. I like just brawling in the middle, but I'm still very highly skilled in grappling. I was excited about it. I was in the boxing gym training with no shoes on, punching and kicking the bags again, seeing my movement, still got it. I was loving the spinning back kick to the gut. I just stick it straight in there like Max Holloway was throwing the spinning back kick, and Cyril Gahn was like, he's real elusive on the feet and throws good kicks. And I was like, where's the heavyweight spinning back kick, man? You put that thing in somebody's liver, they're done. Mm-hmm. So I went to the gym, the MMA gym. I did a 5-minute round with Lyoto Machida, and we were battling it out, dude. Punches, kicks, takedowns. Lyoto's got some size on me, and I'm really good at jiu-jitsu, bro. I'm super strong and aggressive in certain positions. My wrestling isn't the best, but if you take me down, my half guard and my knee shield and my De La Hiva and my butterflies, I'm sick and twisted at pulling on your feet and your ankles, your knee bars, your arm bars. If I work it for a couple of weeks, my triangle choke's not bad either. So, I mean, I got these skills in my back pocket, a lifetime of mixed martial arts, and I just will stand in the middle of a ring and brawl it out. Bare knuckle. There's not anyone else that can say that they would do it like that, or they haven't gone from the UFC to BKFC, been successful like me, and now we're going to put the gloves on, and I'm going to show you guys where boxing really comes from. It started bare knuckle before they ever put gloves on.
I love it. I can listen to you all goddamn day. Well, and the things that work out between you and Dylan in MMA, I'm sure you guys can make a big fight in bare knuckle fighting, which you've been holding down, because I know he's gonna bring eyeballs, right?
He don't want to fight me bare knuckle boxing. He wants to do MMA. Maybe he would do a bare knuckle MMA, but I mean, there's only one guy with that promotion. Yep. Certain things got to work out for businesses. It has to make sense. All the entities involved, management companies, groups, people involved. That's another thing why this fight came to be, is because I got one of the top management organizations. Period. We got the cream of the crop guys, and two big entities come together and can do business like that, because I've been earning it the past 3 years. I've gotten a lot of attention through brawling, and Jake has done well for himself and getting attention. And this is my chance. It gets to be me that shows the world how green that little boy is.
Now, here's a question I have for you. When it comes to, like, now it's on the Zone pay-per-view. Now, did they like, hey, we want to host this fight, and then you jiggle like, hey, let's do it. Let's work out all the numbers. Okay, the Zone, you guys are gonna get 20, and then me, Jake, gonna get 40. Like, how does all that? I mean, you don't have to go in detail, but what I'm asking is, like, was negotiating with the Zone, Jake and his team, was that super easy, or was there a lot of bitching back and forth, blah, 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 blah? No, not this. Because everybody always says that boxing, it's so much easier, right? It's so much easier than mixed martial arts, where you have the A side, you have the B side in boxing. Was that your experience? Like, obviously bare knuckle fighting, I feel like everybody loves you over there, but this is a different entity where you have a big name like Jake Paul, and you have a big name too, where you have most viable, promotions, Platinum, Perry Boxing coming together, and the Zone's gonna host it. Like, talk me through those whole, like, delegations, I guess you can say.
My guy hits me up. Shout out First Round Management. The Kawa brothers, they are a force to be reckoned with. And they hit me up and they're like, hey, we got a little deal here. We got something going on, and we just want to hit them back for a couple of things. Ask for this, ask for that, make sure it's right. And then I think we'll be good to go. And they know me. They call me just to tell me, and then they're like, we already know your answer. We already know your answer. We're just letting you know, hey, you're going to be fighting Jake Paul July 20th. All right, let's go, man. I'm prepping for it. I'll be ready. Tell me when to sign the papers.
I love that.
And that's the thing with Dylan Danish. You know what I mean? He talked, he said this, he said that. That paperwork never came across my desk. It never hit my phone. I never saw that paperwork myself, because if they sent it to me, they know I would have signed it, sent it back to them. Even if I sign it and send it back to them, they holding on to it, because they are the ones. I'm a fighter. I'm an ignorant type of guy. I'm like, I'll do this shit out of pride. I already fought Jake for pride once. I just went to the gym, sparred him, got some work, taught him a lesson. And now I'm a teacher in front of the world. But, like, Dylan's like, oh, I've had the contract for months. No, sir, I never saw that contract, which means the promoter and the promotion, and, I ain't going to hate on Misfits. They are a big company, big promotion, and they are trying to do big things. And if I can be a part of that, I would like to. And, it just has to make sense for me, and they gotta open up their pockets, and we can make these things happen. So whatever you want to do can get done, but it has a price tag on it, and because it's not just me you're paying me, you're paying my management company, you're paying. There's an effect. All these people got to get paid when Mike Perry gets paid. And I'm starting to pay more and more and more people throughout my life. I have money flowing all around me, going everywhere, and it's paying other people's bills. And it's not just about me making money for myself. It's me helping feed other families as well. And that's what I fight for. I'm fighting. It is an honorable thing. I am a hero. And I like to have some tequila and be a little bit of a villain sometimes as well.
Well, July 20th, I think my man Mike Platinum Perry is looking to be the villain as he takes on Jake Paul. I mean, Mike Perry, is there anything else you want to tell the fans where they can find you, how they can watch you, and what you got coming up, brother? Obviously, we know we got the Jake Paul. You got anything else you working on? It's your opportunity to tell everybody.
Man, just other than the fight, tune into that. Please buy the pay-per-view. I know a lot of you guys are smart little streamers, but I could, it would be a lot easier to pay everybody with me if everybody would buy the pay-per-view. This is my first ever. Well, the Luke Rockhold was a pay-per-view, but like it didn't do the numbers that we needed it to. So I didn't get anything off the pay-per-view. It has to do X amount of numbers. And once it does those numbers, now we're talking. If I become this pay-per-view, but I get it. I get it. I do. I'm friends with some streamers probably. So, other than that, check me out on Instagram, man. I try to make funny videos. I try to promote the fight. I try to show some of my workouts and promote the people that are around me that support me. And, there's lots of hate and negative comments too. I don't respond or care about those. And I allow them to come through because you guys can say whatever you want about me on the internet because you won't say it to my face because I'll punch you in yours.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Mike Perry for taking time to come on this episode on the MIGHTYcast. Make sure to check out his fight July 20th on the Zone pay-per-view as he takes on the problem child, Jake Paul. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson. That is my co-host, Michael Wansover, and we will see you guys at the next episode.
Sure.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mighty Recap as we basically recap everything we just did with the guests. And we just had on Mike Perry.
I think you were close to calling him Michael Venom Page a couple times because
I'm not gonna lie to you, I almost did because those two fight and we just dropped Michael Venom Page and he's about to fight this weekend at the time of filming this. But we sat Mike Perry on and dude, like the energy and his aura and the way he believes in himself, right? And when somebody believes in himself so much, I already believe in him. You just get you kind of gravitate to people who have a good spirit, good aura, who believe in himself. And for him to have this opportunity to fight against Jake Paul, one shout out to Bare Knuckle Fighting for giving him the opportunity to go and fight Jake Paul, because there's a lot of promotions where they have an athlete that's bringing him so much money, that's bringing him so many pay-per-views like Mike Perry is. They don't want to let him go off and they want to hold it for himself. So for him to get the opportunity to go fight on the Zone against Jake Paul is a huge opportunity. So shout out to Bare Knuckle Fighting. Now, obviously, it is going to be an interesting matchup because they have sparred before. Obviously, Mike Perry said he was giving it to him, and I believe him. But that was 3 years ago, right? That's 3 years ago. Jake Paul has gotten a lot better since he's jumped into boxing. I think we all can agree on that. But we all can also agree on that he has never fought anybody like Mike Perry. Right? Someone who is willing to take a shot to give a shot, who's been through the fire in his bare knuckle fighting. Like when he fought Eddie Alvarez, when he fought Luke Rockhold, when he fought Michael Venom Page, Julian Lane. I mean, the list just goes on. The people he stopped, Tito Alves, in bare knuckle fighting. He gets the opportunity to fight the problem child, Jake Paul, and he's looking to pull down his pants and give him a spanking. Now, I'm super excited to watch it because I truly believe that Mike Perry can get it done.
Yeah, and I didn't get the chance to ask the question, but my next question to Mike would have been, was there any discussions about this taking place in bare knuckle, and what would it have looked like in bare knuckle? Because not anything against Jake, but I do think if we saw it in bare knuckle, it's probably going to look a lot like, the Eddie Alvarez fight. Like, wouldn't you say that it'd probably look pretty similar to that?
Yeah, 1,000%. And obviously, when, the way Mike explained it that, and I know how Abe and Maki work because they're my management too. They bring me deals. And granted, they're not bringing me fight deals because I'm under one contract. But when they're bringing me deals, they don't call you unless they got something for you, right? And so I'm sure they called Mike, and they know what Mike is always about that life. And they're like, hey, Mike, we got an opportunity for you to fight Jake Paul. We're just working on some numbers, working on a couple things. Just letting you know. Is there anything else you want to add in there? And he goes, maybe yes or no. I don't know. And then, so I don't think Jake Paul and those guys approached Mike Perry with the offer to fight in bare knuckle fighting. I think they approached him like, hey.
Jake would never offer it. I just wondered if it came the other way of just like, hey, would you do this in bare knuckle?
Oh, God, no.
I would imagine Jake's because nah, I'm not doing that shit.
No. Because I truly think Jake Paul, he wants to be world champion in boxing. Like, I think he's truly passionate. He's passionate about boxing. I mean, you look what he's done with Amanda Serino. You look what he's done so far in boxing, given, retired boxers an opportunity to come back and make a good paycheck. And hopefully, after, depending on whatever happens between his fight with Mike Perry and Jake Paul, hopefully he can do some more boxing matches, because I do enjoy watching Jake Paul do the boxing. He's passionate. He's putting the miles in. I see the road work. I see the jump rope, and I see all that stuff. But it's going to be a dope fight. Like, I cannot wait for this fight. Interesting weight, 199, cruiserweight. Didn't know that. And 8 rounds, 3 minutes. I think that's a good amount of rounds for Mike Perry to implement his game plan. He's been able to do it in 5 rounds, 2-minute rounds. So he'll get an extra minute and a couple extra rounds to see if he can put away Jake Paul in the boxing ring. I mean, the biggest thing is going to be the 10-ounce gloves.
Yeah, and that's why it makes it more interesting, right? I mean, if we were having this in bare knuckle, I don't think there would be much of a discussion. We would both be like, oh, Mike Perry's going to just kill him. But in boxing, it makes it interesting. And Jake Paul, all of the guys that he's fought, the former MMA fighters, there's been some asterisk. You start with Ben Askren. No offense to Ben Askren, one of the greatest amateur wrestlers ever, but that's not, you put him in boxing, that's just a mismatch. Then you have Woodley, who actually, give him some credit. That first fight was impressive. Like, for someone with no boxing experience at all, other than the boxing he obviously did in MMA. And the second fight went as the second fight went. But after that, we get Anderson Silva. And how old was Anderson Silva at the time? I mean, if you take Anderson Silva during his UFC run and did it, I'm going to take Anderson Silva in that fight. And he still fought reasonably well. So
good.
All that considered, this is the most interesting one out of all of them for me. You have a 32-year-old who, for the past 3 years or so, has been only boxing, which, granted, it's bare knuckle boxing, but he's still been focusing on the hands. I'd imagine his training, it's not like he trains bare knuckle. He's training, I'd imagine boxing, which I would have liked to ask him about that. But I do agree with you. This is the most interesting Jake Paul fight for me. And I know for the casual fans, they really wanted to see Mike Tyson. I'm with you, DJ. I was like, I do not want to see this shit. I was not looking forward to it. So for me, I was like, this is the best thing that could have happened. We were going to get Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson on this date, but now we're getting Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. I'm much more excited for that fight.
And like you said, one Mike to another Mike. I don't want to see Mike Tyson just get hurt. He's done everything he can in boxing, and I think him coming back to fight Jake Paul is just, who knows how much the paycheck is, right? And for me, it's not even about the money. It's not about him fighting. I'm just more concerned about his health, right? When you start to get that age of 58 years old and you start taking shots to the head, granted, he's got to, Jake Paul's got to land those shots, but, it's like trying to go swimming and not get splashed. Like, you're in a pool, you're in the water, you're going to get splashed. So just like a boxing, he's going to get hit. It's not like Jake Paul is, he's an amateur, but amateurs still hit people, right? You're still going to get hit. And we've seen recently on the internet, we've seen people getting hit from random shots, and they're having seizures and all that stuff. So I can only imagine what would happen if a 58-year-old man took a shot from a guy who's like 28, 30 years old at full power. And I just don't want to see it happen to one of the great legends of Mike Tyson. Is Mike Tyson way more skilled than Jake Paul? 1,000%. If you take young Iron Mike versus Jake Paul right now, Iron Mike eats his ass for breakfast. But that's not the Iron Mike Tyson that's going to be stepping in the cage when they fight. If they do end up fighting later in the year, because I think that match is still booked. So we'll see what happens. And I think the biggest thing, like you said, we're not hating on Jake. We just think there's so many other athletes out there that Jake Paul can fight. And Mike Perry is one of those guys, and we're going to find out July 20th. It was funny because before we jumped on the MIGHTYcast, I was watching his fight with Julian Lane. And I was sitting there and I was like, if you guys are watching this episode of the MIGHTYcast, eventually we're going to do a breakdown of ranking the best gloves in mixed martial arts, because everybody thinks they have the science or the engineering of a glove that's going to stop eye pokes in mixed martial arts. Here's a news flash for you guys. I just watched bare knuckle fighting. They don't have any gloves on. How many eye pokes do you think there are in bare knuckle fighting? I haven't seen one eye poke in bare knuckle fighting after all of the videos I've ever broken
no
down.
Grappling, so it's that's
is exactly. You just named it.
Are you allowed to clinch in bare knuckle?
You can clinch your bare knuckle, right? But there's no grappling. There's no elbows, right? Throwing an elbow like this, yeah, it's a good elbow. But, you know, when I go like this, the elbow is more sharp and pointier when I go here, right? So when you throw your elbows like this, it's more pointier, right? Grappling, you grab somebody, you're grabbing them, your hands come open. When you're measuring like this. I'm measuring. The way people need to think about your hands, it's like ants' antennas. It's like a cat's whisker or a dog's whisker, right? Like if you cut off a cat's whiskers, they become off balance. And at night, they can't feel. That's why I had their whiskers there. They walk through things like corners. They can feel what's going on. So for us athletes or humans, we use our hands to feel and see things. So you're never going to get rid of eye pokes no matter what fucking glove you make unless you eliminate grappling. 2, here's another question. Why hasn't there been any eye pokes in kickboxing or what's what I'm looking for? Or boxing?
Because you obviously don't have the fingers out if it's boxing.
Oh my God. There you go. I'm just trying to make a point here. I was sitting here thinking, I was watching all the bare knuckle fight, and I was like, oh my God, there hasn't been one fucking eye poke. And I'm like, and they have no gloves on. So
yeah, just so people know, the only thing holding that up, we're waiting on the I bought those mustard yellow UFC gloves, and they're a pre-order, so we're waiting for those to come in. But I forgot another thing I would have loved to ask Mike, and it's of course probably dependent on how this fight goes. But I'm really curious who his next bare knuckle opponent is going to be, because we have just seen him, and we had MVP on the show. He's the only guy who's really been, and actually I'll give Eddie Alvarez credit too, because that was a fucking, for as long as that fight lasted, it was fucking great back and forth. But I just want to see, I'm wondering, I'm hearing some rumors of Yoel Romero that he's going to sign with bare knuckle boxing. He's obviously pretty huge, but I am just curious. Are there any guys you could think of that you think would give Mike Perry a good fight in bare knuckle boxing? Because he's just plowing through guys.
Man, to be honest with you, no. I don't think him or Yoel will fight, because I'm sure they're friends or they're managed by the same people at first round management. So I don't think that fight would happen. And I think Yoel is way bigger. But at the end of the day, money talks. But I don't see anybody out there particular that can match Mike Perry's, viciousness, his violence. Obviously Eddie Alvarez did, but you also got to take in consideration of the wear and tear on the face. He broke Eddie's orbital bone, right? I mean, he broke Luke Rocco's tooth. Just the amount of damage he's able to put on these guys is just things that people can't withstand. You know what I mean? So it's not like cognitively like they're, I'm being rocked. It's like, no, I'm hurting. Like I broke my orbital bone. I can't continue. I don't know. Nobody comes to mind. Like right now, I just got Jake Paul versus Mike Perry in my mind.
And I asked him about Dylan Dennis MMA, but I don't necessarily see the point in that fight. What are your thoughts on if that was to happen?
Yeah, I think if they're going to fight, I mean, he did make some good points. Dylan Dennis only has 2 MMA fights. He's only had 2 fights in general. Granted, Dylan Dennis, he's had a lot of injuries, a lot of knee surgeries. So I think that's why we haven't seen him in combat. And, he did fight, what's the gentleman's name? Logan Paul. But at the end of the day, like Mike Perry said, this is a business, right? It's got to make sense. If the money doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense for Mike Perry to step in there, because he's not just fighting for himself. He's fighting for everybody in his whole team. So maybe Dylan Dennis isn't a draw, right? Like if I was Dylan Dennis, depending on what he wants to do, maybe he should go out and get like 4 or 5 5 MMA fights, get healthy enough to do that, and then maybe get signed by the UFC. I know he's been trying to get Dana White to sign him. Maybe he does Dana White Contender Series, but I don't think his ego will allow him to do that. So I don't think we're going to see Mike Perry versus Dylan Dennis. Maybe bare knuckle fighting, but I don't know if bare knuckle fighting is going to have somebody who's only had 2 pro fights step up to the king of violence.
Yeah, and I just want to say also for the record that when we stopped rolling, Mike Perry made fun of me for when I laughed at him when you picked him for the 2023 Fighter of the Year.
There's a lot of closeted haters, like your producer when you said you're Fighter of the Year, and he started laughing, and you were like, "Why do you laugh?
Get him, Mike! Get him, Mike!" That's right, baby. He was like, "Hey, thanks for not laughing at me this time,
to
bro."
Clarify, I laughed more out of being like surprised by it because I can't even remember 2023 at this point. I can barely remember the last UFC pay-per-view, but I'm pretty sure the options were.
Do you remember your last date? Do you remember your last
even
date?
Longer ago. No. But no,
that's all
no,
good.
So,
hey, ladies, if we have any ladies out there, my man Michael Wanzover, he's looking for a date. Just slide into his DMs and take you out a nice date in videos. Oh, look at the biceps. He's been training too. Taking ladies out.
Perry was giving me some jiu-jitsu advice as well. But I just wanted to say, 2023 Fighter of the Year. We, I don't like to show our bias sometimes, but we as the MIGHTYcast, we're rooting for him. Biggest fight, and you didn't really want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Biggest fight of his life. Jake Paul, DAZN pay-per-view, July 20th. I just want to say, as I'm going to suck up to him for laughing at the Fight of the Year. We are rooting for him. MIGHTYcast, Mike Perry, 2023 Fighter of the Year. Let's go versus Jake Paul.
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. July 20th. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode of the MIGHTYcast and the Mighty Recap, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to know we go live. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson. That's my co-host, my good man, my good friend, Michael Wanzover, and we will see you beautiful people at the next one.